baseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. The Yankees will start John Birdie in place of Anthony Rizzo at first base. Jose Trevino over Austin Wells behind the plate. Game 3 of the American League Championship Series in Cleveland today. One factor with lefty Matthew Boyd starting. Rizzo and Wells are left-handed hitters. Birdie and Trevino are right-handed. ESPN radio coverage in 30 minutes. NBA ESPN's Shams Charania reporting Clippers star Kawhi Leonard out indefinitely with inflammation in his right knee. The last time Leonard played the first round of the playoffs against the Mavericks. ESPN NBA analyst Tim Legler.
This is a really bad sign for Kawhi Leonard. It's bad for the league. We want to watch the guy play. But at this point, with everything he has dealt with in the past, when you're dealing with this on the cusp of a new year, with all that time off, really bad sign for the Clippers, even worse for Kawhi Leonard. I don't know how much we're even going to see this guy play this year.
In his absence, James Harden will be relied upon to shoulder much of the offensive load. NFL, the Browns have informed the city of Cleveland they intend to leave the current Lakefront Stadium and move forward on a new dome stadium in suburban Brook Park.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, the Chiefs are coming off of the bye. So will it be business as usual for them? Or will Brock Purdy and the Niners give them their first loss of the season? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing service in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. My goodness, do we have a ton to do. Kyron Lacey in 15 minutes. Fantasy Blitz. John Nabors covering Arkansas. Lee Sterling will be here. Ross Jackson. My goodness, it's a Saints game day. Let's go.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Who dat, y'all? It is Saints game day, and what a day it is and should be in and around New Orleans. Drew Brees earlier today formally inducted into the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame. It was Jimmy Graham who introduced Drew Brees. Sean Payton actually made his way over from the Broncos hotel to the induction. Said later, of course, how could we not be there? So some good vibes there. Remember the great times in the history of this organization, the greatest of times in the history of this organization with Peyton and Brees both on hand for Saints and Broncos tonight, although it's going to have a decidedly different feel. As we well know, the Saints are 2-4. The Broncos are 3-3, 2 rookie quarterbacks. I mean, if I were to tell you that the New Orleans Saints had just, knocked you out, you went unconscious, you came back, out of a coma, and you woke up, you said, hey, who's the, from training camp to now, said, who's starting for the Saints tonight against the Broncos? I said, yeah, well, they're going to go Taliese Fuanga, probably a little bit of Nick Saldiveri, Connor McGovern, don't worry about him. Probably, you're looking at Landon Young at right guard and Trevor Penn sort of right tackle. They're going to give Spencer Rattler the go at quarterback. And your starting receivers are going to be Bub Means, Cedric Wilson, and Mason Tipton. But they're going to get some run out of Kamara and Foster Moreau tonight. And you're going to say to me, oh, you mean it's preseason game number 3? No, actually, no, it's not. It's week 7 in the NFL. But the Saints are running a preseason offense out there, unfortunately, against one of the best defenses in the NFL. The flip side, which is also true, is that Denver is running a rookie quarterback out there against the Saints defense in the Dome in prime time. And with all the things going into this game, you would imagine there will be good energy in the Dome, but that could sour quickly if things go poorly quickly for the home team. Look, bringing Drew Brees back, having Sean Payton there, despite the fact that the team is 2-4, there's going to be a lot of vibes and good vibes and energy in the building. It's just a matter, it's up to the team to sustain that. They got to play well enough to sustain that energy and those good vibes. We'll see if they can. We do have a lot to get to as it pertains to tonight's game, but there's some news that I want to get to as well. There was a report from Diana Rossini that the New Orleans Saints could be interested in trading for another receiver. And this time, it's Mike Williams. You probably remember Mike Williams from Clemson, was a top 10 pick, 7th overall of the Chargers. A little bit of a slow start to his career, but once he got rolling, he was really good on some really good Chargers teams. The way it's gone since after this season, he ended up playing 7 seasons with the Chargers. 2018, led the team with 10 touchdown receptions. Led the NFL with 20.4 yards per reception in 2019. His best season was in 21, 76 catches, 1,100 yards. But this year, went to the Jets. Injuries have really limited him. Just 3 games a season ago. And it was thought that in this free agency period when he signed with the Jets, Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams would be a great 1-2 punch for Aaron Rodgers. That hasn't really worked out, as we will see. Now the Jets have traded for Devontae Adams, so in theory they're willing to part with Mike Williams. In 6 games with the Jets, just 10 receptions for 145 yards, and no touchdowns. So you're talking about a guy in Mike Williams who is 6'4", 220 pounds, who is a former first-round draft pick, top 10 pick, who is 30 years old, and who played in just 3 games a year ago. And now to start this season in 6 games, he's been seldom used, even though Aaron Rodgers is there. So I would answer the question about the Saints trading for Mike Williams with 2 different scenarios. And it starts with asking the question of, what are you playing for? If the New Orleans Saints were a contending team right now, if the Saints are 4-2 instead of 2-4, and in the same week Chris Olave gets a concussion and Rashid Shaheed has a meniscus injury that's going to potentially keep him out for a month or longer, and you're thinking, okay, we knew we were thin at receiver, going to get Olave back coming off the concussion, but you got to replace Shaheed in the deep threat ability. In that case, I'd say, okay. I'd be willing to part with a day 3 draft pick for a guy that can make me better today. Not that dissimilar from what the Saints did a few years back when at the trade deadline, they gave Houston a 7 for Mark Ingram. Remember that? They brought Mark Ingram back. Ingram and Kamara, they had one final run together. Saints were trying to contend. I get it. I'll part with that late round draft capital. Not every 7th round pick is going to be Brock Purdy. Not every 7th round pick is going to make, or Marcus Colson. I was going to make the team. The flip side of it is, if you're not contending, which the Saints are not, at 2-4, and after tonight, I think they're going to be 2-5, and even if they do win to go to 3-4, do you still think this is a contending team? And if the answer is no, then you're absolutely not giving up any future assets to improve your team this year. Ask yourself this question: are you Mike Williams away from being a contender? And I would flip it and say this is a 30-year-old receiver who had great moments. Just 3 years ago is when he had that season in 2021. 76 catches, 1146 receiving, 9 touchdowns. If that were the guy that you're trading for to a contending team, okay. But I'd flip it and say, why wouldn't he doing that with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football? What are you really getting at this point, and is it worth giving up an asset? So the answer to that is flatly no. Now, if Mike Williams were a free agent, if the Jets had cut Mike Williams and he was free to sign anywhere, would you go look at Mike Williams and kick the tires? Absolutely. He's still a 6'4", 220-pound receiver who has deep threat ability, and that's what you're missing right now with Rashid Shaheed injured and could be, for the indefinite future. So if this were a situation where Mike Williams were a free agent and you could just go sign him, veteran minimum, whatever, okay, you're desperate for help. So, yeah, I mean, you just went, it's no different than just going to sign Dante Pettis. It's the same exact thing, except in this instance, you'd have to give up an asset, and I'm not okay with that. You're a team that needs to value your future assets because you've got to be able to get younger in a hurry. Now, the other part of this conversation today is a lot of people asked about Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams asked for a release from Tennessee, and they granted it to him. Tennessee cut Jamal Adams today. And I'm not the guy that's ever going to sit here and say, yeah, go sign the former Tiger. Sometimes it makes sense. A lot of times it doesn't. But this is one of those instances where you've lost Will Harris to injury, and he was a guy that was giving you depth at safety. Tyron's aging. Should be back off of injury today. You've seen a little bit of a rotation there with Jonathan Abram and Jordan Howden as well. Is Jamal Adams a better option than them? If you had to trade and give up an asset for Jamal Adams, I would tell you absolutely not. Jamal was awesome to start his career. First 2 seasons with the Jets, played in every game. Year 3 in 2019, played in just 14 games, but he was a Pro Bowler that year as well. Since then, his first year in Seattle, played in a dozen games. 12 games in 2021, had the season-ending surgery after just 1 game in 2022. Last year played in just 9 games. So far with Tennessee, 3 games, 1 start, and they've cut him now after having just played in 3 games through 6 weeks. It's fair to look and say, is he any good anymore? He might be a guy at 29 years old whose body has failed him. He has been unable to stay healthy. He's not worth giving up an asset. It's a similar conversation with Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas at 30 years old, who has been unable to stay healthy for a half decade, is not the same player he was when he was the best receiver in the NFL. Same with Jamal Adams. He's 30 years old. He can't stay healthy. He's not the player he was when he was a second-team All-Pro and he went to 3 straight Pro Bowls. That's not Jamal Adams anymore. Jamal Adams was on the NFL Top 100 3 times. He was 37th, 27th, and 31st in 19, 20, and 21. He was one of the top 30 players in the league. He is not a shell of that anymore. But he's effectively free. If you want to go sign him and get him into your rotation to bring a veteran out, a veteran who's been good at points in his career while you've got an injured Will Harris, sure, I'm for that. Because it's inexpensive. The one thing the Saints can't do right now as an organization is give up future assets to try to win now. Because this season is lost. You are 2-4. You're going to lose tonight to Denver. I think you're going to lose tonight to Denver. You'll be 2-5. And there is no chance, especially with Derek Carr out for at least another game and all the mass unit of injuries you've had, that you're digging your way out of this hole. If you can do it affordably to make your team better, you absolutely do that. Jamal Adams is an example of that. You do not sacrifice anything in the future for the now anymore. You cut up your credit cards. You are massively in debt. I'm not just talking salary cap. This is like a real world situation. If you are in debt, you have to cut up your credit cards and stop spending to start to dig your way out. The Saints have to look at it the same way. If you want to get a better roster, you are going to have to be more fiscally responsible. That means you are not playing for the now. As hard as that is for this organization, which has been in that mode for 15 years to do, you are not playing for the now anymore. You've got to be playing for the long term. All right, it's After Further Review. Show opens brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Hey, if y'all missed it, last night we went live with our latest promotion from our friends over at Mockler Beverage. The biggest show in the world is Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. And right now at 1045ESPN.com, we have a contest rolling where we are going to be giving away, courtesy of our friends at Mockler Beverage, 2 sweet tickets to the Taylor Swift concert in New Orleans coming up a week from Sunday, October the 27th. There are some stipulations. No one under 21 is allowed in the suite. So do not enter the contest if you are not 21. And your guest must be 21. You have to enter an age. They will be checking IDs at the suite, so you will not be admitted if you're under 21. This is not an instance where you're going to be able to bring a young person into the suite. You have to be from the state of Louisiana as well, and you have to use the tickets. These are non-transferable tickets. But what an incredible opportunity. It's the biggest concert in the world. It's the show everybody wants to see. And our friends over at Mockler Beverage, such great community partners, they're giving us a pair of tickets in their suite to give away to somebody for free. Just go to 1045ESPN.com. You can either enter with your email address or your Facebook account. You'll see it right there on the homepage, 1045ESPN.com. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light and our friends at Mockler Beverage. By the way, we'll announce the winner a week from Friday. We'll announce the winner a week from tomorrow. All right, it's after further review. Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing service in Baton Rouge. We'll come back. Had a chance to visit with LSU receiver Kyron. They're practicing right now. Had a chance to visit with Kyron Lacey a bit ago. We talked about the game-winning touchdown. We talked about the injury at the end of the first half. And we talked about getting right to go try to get a win at Arkansas. You'll hear that interview next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Of course, we tell you all the time about Gordon and the G team. Newest member of the G team, as you well know by now, is LSU offensive lineman Will Campbell. They went gator hunting with Will. If you want to go check out some of the footage, you can at getgordon.com or go to @getgordon on any of the social media handles. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It's all there at getgordon, at getgordon. You can see the video footage of Will Campbell out there in Lockport on the boat. Got Jordan Arsamon as well on the boat. Out there gator hunting. Big man pulling up some big reptiles out of the water. Go check it out. Just another way that Gordon is having fun and also giving great opportunities to some of these young people and young student athletes. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, as we always say, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or call 888-8888. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
What a night it was for Kyren Lacy. Terrifying knee injury at the end of the first half. Elation at the end of the game, scoring the game winner. And you know by now, Kyren is an NIL partner with Duplessis. Duplessis Builders, Pools, Outdoor Kitchens, great partner of ours here as well. And part of the NIL deal Duplessis did with Kyren is they wrote it into their contract 4 interviews on our show here during the season. So we had a chance to visit with Kyren earlier in the year, and what better time than now after he had one of the most dramatic plays in the history of Tiger Stadium, a walk-off, which is where I started the conversation with Kyren a bit ago today, which was if that was, in fact, his first ever walk-off game-winning touchdown. Here's what he said. All right, man. Congrats first and foremost on the game-winning touchdown. Was that your first ever walk-off touchdown?
For football, yeah, but for basketball, I had a few.
Man, I can't even imagine in that moment. Hey, walk me through the play. So Ole Miss gets the field goal. You know y'all have to score a touchdown. What were the conversations on the sideline?
So when I started us kicking the field goal, I was like, yes. So I saw Odell. So I approached Odell. I'm like, man, I'm about to kill a game. I'm telling you. He was like, all right, bet, let's do it then. So then y'all saw the video when I said I want the one-on-one with 28, and then I scored. Man, it was just crazy, man. That's something I'll never forget in my whole entire life. That was insane. That was insane.
So on the sideline, so was the play call for you, or were you a different read in the progression?
No, it was called for me.
Oh, so you knew going on the field. So they told you on the sideline, hey, we're coming to you first down?
Yeah, me and Ness had talked about it. We actually was talking about it before we even went into OT.
So wait, yeah.
So when they're about to kick the field goal, while the defense is on the field, we were discussing it. My guy, Paul Turner, he came up to me. He was like, bro, you got to win this one-on-one matchup against 28. And so I was like, bro, you trust me? He was like, hell yeah, I trust you. So I just went out there, and the rest was history.
Hey, what was the route? Because obviously it felt like maybe it was back shoulder. You stopped, came back. The DB fell down. The memes of the DB on his head are hilarious. But what was the route in that moment? Like, was it meant to be sort of a back shoulder underthrow like that?
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie. I really wanted to be like a jump ball so where I could like just embarrass him. But I take that though.
I bet you would, man. Hey, so have you seen the memes and everything of the Ole Miss DB on his head and everything?
Yeah, that's crazy.
What in that moment? So you catch the ball, and you kind of like faked like you were going to throw it in the stands, just folded your arms. Like what goes through your mind in that moment? Like a lot of people, I would assume, would just be, elation, jumping up and down, and you went really sort of like subtle with it.
Yeah, I was about to throw the ball in there, but I was thinking about a flag the whole time. Because Coach Kelly and those guys overemphasized not getting penalties. So I thought if I would have threw that ball, I thought I was going to get a flag or something. That's the only thing that was on my mind. Kyron, do not get a flag. Just don't get a flag. That's the only thing going through my mind.
I don't know, dude. As soon as that ball's caught, I think the game's over, dog. You probably could have chucked it and been all right. Now, Coach Kelly.
I know next time now. Next time that ball gonna be somewhere way in the stand.
All right, bet on that, man. Hey, Kyren Lacy's our guest. What makes that moment even more amazing is what happened at the end of the first half when you got hurt. And dude, everybody looked at that play and we all thought the same thing. What happened? What did you feel?
I ain't gonna lie. When I went up for the ball, I don't even know how my knee even did that. Like, I just went up in the ball for the air because the only thing that was on my mind was catching that ball, and I was about to catch it. But then somehow, I don't know how my knee just went back. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was over with. So I was like, bro, if I let this thing get stiff, I'm not gonna be able to play. So I'm like, let me move it. I gotta keep moving. it. Because at this time we was down. So I'm like, there's no way I'm getting out of this game. But like when I got hurt, it was crazy because it was like my whole life paused. Like it just paused. Like I just felt the pause. So I'm like, bro, this can't be happening right now. So I just started moving it. So I'm like, as long as I can keep moving it, I'm gonna be straight. So they picked me up and stuff. So they were trying to get me to go in the tent. I'm like, no, I'm going right back in. So I told them, like, just put some icy hot on there and, like, just put a band around it. I'm going right back out. So that's the only thing I was on my mind, just get back on that field and compete at a higher level. Because we was down at that point. I'm like, there's no way I'm getting out this game. So I just kept telling myself, man, you're different. You're a killer. Just go out there. It's all right. Everybody hurting. So just separate yourself. This is when you separate yourself. Everybody hurting. This is when you be different. This is where you make your money at. That was the only thing that was going through my mind at that time and being there for my teammates. So that was the only thing that was going through my mind. I'm like, man, it could have been worse, but God blessed me to still be able to play. So it's a blessing.
When you were laying on the field, man, like you were grabbing your knee, and we all saw the hyperextension. What did it feel like? I mean, did some people they'll say like I heard a pop or I felt something move. Like what did it? Like you felt it?
I felt it. I felt it go all the way back. Like I felt it. I didn't feel like a pop or nothing, but like I felt it. Like my life paused. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's like everything just stopped. So that's when I started moving, and I'm like, this is not happening. No. But no, I didn't feel like a pop or nothing, but I felt it like go all the way back. Like my knee. Yeah, it was just nasty. It was nasty.
Did they? So I guess they diagnosed you with a hyperextension. I mean, I would assume you're good for this week. I mean, hell, you played the rest of the game.
I'm good to go.
Good, man. Kyron Lacey's with us, courtesy of our friends at Duplessis Builders, great partner of ours here on AFR with Kyron as well. Man, I'd imagine after a game like that, it's hard to turn the page. Like you went through this 2 years ago, the upset over Bama, stormed the field. A week later, y'all got to go to Arkansas. Well, here you are again. You upset Ole Miss, stormed the field. Now y'all got to go to Arkansas. Why? What has the focus been like this week with the team?
Next game is Arkansas. So we had our celebrations with the Ole Miss game. We got all of that out of our system. We just been focusing on Arkansas because we know it's going to be a great game, a great atmosphere. So we just got to go in there with the right mindset and go in there and get it done.
Why is it so tough to play Arkansas, even when they're not as talented as LSU? They always seem to play tough.
I really think it's because every time we play Arkansas, we play them after a good game. So, like, I think last year when we played them, it was after the Bama game. And now this time we play them after the Ole Miss game. So, and you know everybody's going to play LSU different because we're different. Everybody coming at us with their best. So we just got to be prepared mentally to go in there for a dogfight regardless. Come out with a W.
Hey, do you prefer to play road games at night or during the day?
During the day. I'd rather the day.
Why?
It's just different. First off, I'd rather get home back early than being on that flight all night. But I just like the daytime games, man, because being at a different school in the daytime is like the atmosphere is different. But to me, it really doesn't matter. Night game, day game, it doesn't matter. But if we're going away, I'd rather the daytime game.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, you all play so many night games at home. It feels like you have your game day routine, so you may prefer it, you know, on the road to just stay in that game day routine. But it does make sense, you know, with how the atmosphere may be. Hey, I got one more thing for you. The defense was great on Saturday, and obviously last year against Ole Miss, you know, it was just it was one of the roughest games we'd ever seen for an LSU defense. What's it like playing offensively this year, where you have a defense that's out there getting stops, where, you know, a year ago that wasn't always the case, probably where you felt like you had to go score every possession?
Yeah, man, with Coach Kelly overemphasized the complimentary football. So we got to work off of each other. So if defense get a stop, we got to go score. So if we score, defense got to get stopped. It's just playing complementary football. So, man, it's just great when you got a great defense and a great offense at the same time. Because once we all put it together, because we still didn't put a full game together, but once we all put it together, nobody's going to stop us in the country. So we still feeling our way out mid-season. So I feel like going forward, we're just going to be playing complementary football, going off each other, feeding off each other energy. That's the biggest thing, because last year we weren't doing that. I feel like we do a great job of that this year. Offense going for the defense going for the offense, and, like, really being into the game. So I feel like that's what separates us from last year.
Kyron Lacey, LSU receiver, Tigers and Razorbacks, Saturday night at 6 o'clock. Hey, man, I would love to see another walk-off touchdown, but quite honestly, I'd rather you just go blow everybody out so we don't have to see that in overtime.
Right.
Hey, man, good luck Saturday. We appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That is Kyron Lacey. I had a chance to visit with him earlier today. Again, courtesy of our friends over at Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Great NIL partner. What a great time to catch up with Kyron. Hey, we're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, with locations from sea to shining sea, more than a dozen different states. At Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. Michelli.com. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products that you use to weigh and measure. All different types of calibration, including ISO 17025 calibration. If you know what it is and you need it, you know why it's important. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out online, our nation's largest distributor of scales, but they do so much more than that. Make sure you check them out at Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We will hit a quick break, go around the SEC. Fantasy Blitz with Darin Tietgen here in about 14 minutes. So line up your questions for our Fantasy Blitz and whotostart.net. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Tigers are on the road, so they won't be at the Renaissance this Friday. Of course, that's their home away from home. Every single Friday before a home game, the LSU football program is set up there at the Renaissance. It's a great reminder that if the Renaissance has the space to host the entire LSU football program, team meals, breakout meetings, positional meetings, offensive meetings, defensive meetings, of course, guest rooms for the entire team and program, they can host your event also. Allison Crump over there, my friend, the events coordinator, is very fond of saying we're in the business of saying yes. So if you have an event of any size, scale, or scope, they will manipulate their space however they have to accommodate your event, from wedding receptions and fundraisers and galas and all different types of things. So check them out at the Renaissance Hotel. Conveniently right there on Bluebonnet, close to I-10 across from the mall in Perkins Row. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies. Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Red Cake Events and Mestizo Restaurant are celebrating their 25th anniversaries with the Metalachi Monster Mashup and Halloween Costume Contest. It's happening October 25th at Manship. Metalachi is the world's first and only heavy metal mariachi band.
You don't say.
And you can win free tickets and a Mestizo's gift card by showing us your best Halloween costume at 1045ESPN.com. It's the Metalachi Monster Mashup, October 25th at the Manship. Get all the details at 1045ESPN.com.
Got breaking news, and it is not great. Bob, not great. Adam Schefter reporting Rashid Shaheed will miss 4 to 6 months. Season is over. Ended up going in for surgery. According to Schefter, the doctors repaired the meniscus. Now Shaheed ends up facing a 4 to 6 month recovery. Placed on IR. His season is over. The New Orleans Saints did activate a couple of wide receivers today. And there's Equanimous St. Brown was elevated today. And they also elevated, I should say, Jonathan Abram for the third and final time that he's eligible to be elevated from the practice squad this season. So Equanimous St. Brown elevated, so he'd be available tonight for the ball game against Denver. And no Chris Olave, as we know, as he's still in the concussion protocol. So New Orleans Saints, the 2 spots in training camp we talked about plenty, where they were thinnest, was receiver and offensive line. And that depth, unfortunately, has already been tested. Rashid Shaheed's fantastic season is over 4 to 6 months with meniscus injury, according to Adam Schefter. As that continues to develop, we'll let you know more. All right, it is after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Thursday show is brought to you by Decision Critical, a concierge nursing service. From birth to end-of-life care, everything in between. Cannot recommend Decision Critical highly enough. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. And a lot of people might think, oh, I can't afford that. You'll be surprised at how affordable this care is and can be. If you want that peace of mind for yourself or a family member, you want Decision Critical. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Every nurse is hand-selected by their founder, CEO, Blaise Rivette, who I know personally. She helped care for Drew when she was a CV nurse when he was a baby. I just cannot recommend on a very personal level a Decision Critical highly enough. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Round the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Texas Longhorns.
Wide receiver Isaiah Bond is getting better, according to Steve Sarkisian. He's listed as questionable for this weekend's game against Georgia. Suffered the ankle injury against Oklahoma. Big top 5 showdown this weekend against Oklahoma. Bond injured the ankle early in the game in that 34-3 win over the Sooners, then re-aggravated it again late. Of course, Bond is an Alabama transfer.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
All SEC cornerback Maxwell Hairston is expected to miss the game against Florida on Saturday. Harrison will miss the game due to the injury that's had him sidelined for the last 2 games, although the nature of the injury has not been disclosed. He was second-team All-SEC a year ago and led the SEC with 5 interceptions.
The Florida Gators.
Speaking of those Gators, a little future scheduling note. Florida and NC State have canceled a future home-and-home football series. They were set to play in 2026 and 2032. That series has been canceled. Florida now just has 2 non-conference opponents for 2026. It's Campbell, and then their rivalry game against Florida State. In 2032, the Gators have games scheduled against Notre Dame and Florida State. Florida and Cal canceled a home-and-home earlier this year.
Texas A&M!
And 4-star 2026 quarterback Helman Kasuga has committed to Texas A&M. He's he's an on 300 player. He is a 4-star, chose the Aggies over Washington, Southern Cal, had more than a dozen offers. 6'1", 200 pounds. He's the number 144 overall prospect in the country. He's the 3rd commit for Texas A&M's 2026 class. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Y'all, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, they are just the best. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question here as we get closer to Christmas, closer to the holiday season, Lee Michaels, they are the best. You go to a big box store, it's cookie cutter. It's impersonal. Go to a boutique store, the selection's not great and the prices are too high. Lee Michaels, just right. Because they're buying for 9 stores, they got a great selection. If they don't have what you want, they'll find it, or they can make it for you. And, of course, because they buy in bulk, they can offer you great prices as well. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Okay, it's after further review. Busy Thursday show here. Saints-Broncos. We'll take a trip down memory lane throughout the day with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. As Brees was, in fact, inducted today into the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame, and Sean Payton will be on the opposing sideline in the Dome tonight for the Saints and the Broncos. We'll knock out a quick break. The NFL weekend does get started with Saints-Broncos, so it's time for our Fantasy Blitz. Darin Tietgen will be here, who2start.net, who2start.net. Get your personalized fantasy football questions answered. You can email us, tweet us, or text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Fantasy Blitz next.
AFR.
And we just had Kyron Lacey on a bit ago, courtesy of our friends at Duplessis Builders. Great opportunity now for me to tell you more about Duplessis Builders. Or you can find out more for yourself if you go to duplessisbuilders.net. That's duplessisbuilders.net. Derek Duplessis, LSU alum, mechanical engineering with a minor in aerospace engineering, was working as an engineer, didn't love what he was doing, built a pool for his sister, ended up building 8 pools that first year, went full-time into it, did 60 pools that next year, and now one of the fastest-growing companies, and the reason is because of the quality. The quality is what separates Duplessis. There's a lot of places that'll build you a beautiful pool. But at Duplessis, Derek will never rush the process. Takes 2 weeks for concrete to cure. They're not going to move on to tiling and coping until that concrete is cured. They're going to take the time to do it right. They're upfront about the process and the time it's going to take. But that's why they're able to offer you a 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1 year. DuplessisBuilders.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com. After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.net.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.net. The Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the bitten?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz, powered by whotostart.net.
All right, let's get to Week 7 of the NFL. Season kicks off tonight in the Dome, Saints-Broncos. Vibes will be high because Drew Brees will be in the building, throwback uniforms, pulling out all the stops, although I don't know the football is going to be any good. Darin Tietgen's with us, whotostart.net. Get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400. Darin, how are you, man?
Doing good. Yeah, I was going to say this is the Thursday night football that we've all grown accustomed to.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not sure there's many people super pumped about the product we're going to see on the field tonight, but they're going to tee it up, kick it off. Everybody's out for the Saints, but who are we keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, Alvin Kamara, I got him in a couple leagues, so I'm hoping he gets about 20 dump-offs from Spencer Rattler. We'll see who the Saints trot out there at wide receiver. It looks like Spencer Rattler had a little bit of a rapport with Bub Means, so maybe those two could connect a couple times. Juwan Johnson, if you're hurting at tight end, could be a good play. On the other side of the ball, Javonte Williams is going to touch the ball a lot for the Broncos.
Sleepers this week?
Yeah, I got a couple for you. If you're hurting at running back, especially if you're in the PPR league, we like Antonio Gibson. Ramondre Stevenson still kind of hanging around, but Gibson got 13 carries last week. Wasn't a great matchup for him against the Texans. But if you're in a PPR league, his matchup's a little bit better this week against Jacksonville over there across the pond. Wide receiver-wise, we like Xavier Legette from the Panthers as a sleeper. Should be a contest where the Panthers need to throw quite a bit to keep up with Jaden Daniels and that Washington offense. To expect some passing out of Andy Dalton, and Xavier Legette could maybe get you a late garbage touchdown.
All right, he's Darin Tietgen, who2start.net, the numeral 2, who2start.net. Get personalized fantasy football questions, get them in. All right, here we go. You can email us, tweet us, or text, of course, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Darin, who to start? He's got Lamar or Jaden. Good problem to have.
Yeah, well, I think those are our top two quarterbacks this week. I mean, you can't go wrong with either, Matt. I mean, they're going to be between a couple points of each of one another. I mean, if you held a gun to my head, I'd go just with Lamar just because of the history, but that he has. But you can't go wrong either way. I would side with Jackson, but it's so close.
Donovan said, I have Marvin Harrison and Christian Watson in at wide receiver, but both are questionable. Should I add and play Bub Means or wait it out? It's from Donovan.
You know what I'm doing? I have Harrison Jr. in a couple leagues, and what I've done is I've gone out, and these are in redraft leagues, so maybe these guys are available for you. But go pick up a guy like either Michael Wilson for the Cards, who would kind of absorb all of those Harrison targets if, in fact, Marvin Harrison Jr. is out. So you just plug Wilson right in. Or maybe perhaps a guy like Rashad Bateman for the Ravens, who is also playing on Monday night in case Wilson's not available.
Justin Beck says he's got a wide receiver question. Amari Cooper or Chase Brown in a PPR league? Who to start?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to start the guy going to a new team on his first game with that new team. It was kind of take a while for him to get acclimated there, so I would go with the running back there.
Ryan says pick 2. He's got Gibbs, A-Chain, and James Conner. Who to start? I guess that's a who to sit.
Yeah, I'd probably sit A-Chan just because he's coming back from a concussion, and Raheem Mostert's there and healthy himself. So they'll use A-Chan back into his normal role kind of slowly. So I would out of those 3, I would have to sit A-Chan.
Let's see. Greg says who to start. It's a half a point PPR league. Says needs 2 of the 3. It's got Najee Harris, Tony Pollard, and Josh Jacobs. Who to start?
I think you're probably going to sit Najee there. There could be a change at quarterback, and that tends to kind of mess with the running game a little bit. And Jaylen Warren is back and has slowly been getting himself back and reacclimated to the offense. So out of those 3, you have 3 good running backs there, so you're going to have to sit somebody. So in this case, I'd probably sit Harris.
Love to see this. Dylan get a question in for the first time on the text line. Who to start, Jackson Smith and Jigba or Alan Lazard? Who to start?
Yeah, with Devontae Adams going over there to New York, that's going to kind of pull some of the targets away from Lazard. JSN has been kind of a target machine the past couple of weeks. Really like that matchup here against the Vikings. That should be a shootout. So don't let that Vikings defense scare you. There's still going to be lots of passing in that game, so I think you go JSN.
Quarterback question here from Dylan, who's in a 4-point touchdown pass league. Darnold or Richardson?
Yeah, I'm still not going to say that Richardson's a play, even with the matchup. Just too many variables there with him coming back from injury. Darnold, like I said with the previous question, there is going to be in a shootout with the Lions. So I think Darnold's your play there.
You mentioned Bub Means once already, but Darin said, would you start Bub Means?
Sure. I mean, there's not going to be really anybody else to throw to, and Rattler did, like I said earlier, did have a little bit of a rapport with him. So if you're struggling to find that third wide receiver or a flex spot in a deeper league, I would certainly give him a try.
Who to start, Burrow or Cousins? That's from Ricky. Burrow or Cousins, who to start?
Yeah, we got them pretty close in our rankings this week. I think you go with Joey B there. I do like Cousins matchup as well, but both guys should get you right around 20 fantasy points, but I think the upside's with Burrow.
Here's Keith. See if we can get a couple more in. He says Romeo Doubs, Gabe Davis, or Tony Pollard in the flex position in a PPR league. Who to start?
Yeah, I like Pollard there. He's going to touch the ball more, and he does get catches, so the PPR format's going to help you there, so I think you go Pollard.
One more, Joshua Downs or Najee Harris in the flex. Who to start?
Yeah, with Richardson back, I'm going to shy away from Downs. He looks like he was a little bit more connected with Flacco, so go the other way.
Now, let me get one more in here. My buddy Matt from Lafayette just texted me this one. He said, Cousins or Mahomes, who to start?
Yeah, it's hard to bench Mahomes. It's close, probably within a point there. Tough matchup against the Niners. I think you probably still go Mahomes there, though.
He is Darin Tietgen, who2start.net. That's the numeral 2, who2start.net. It's our fantasy blitz. If you got fantasy questions, get help from our guys over at who2start.net. All right, Darin, enjoy the football, man. Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks. Go Saints.
Who dat, man? Hopefully, man. Golly, they need something good to happen. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. I was over at South Point just yesterday, as a matter of fact, visiting with some of my friends. Airline just north of Highland. Go check out the inventory. If you want to go test drive a Volkswagen, if you've never done it before, just put Volkswagen on your list. You'll see what I've talked about for years. These are luxury vehicles without the cost. The style, the feel, the performance of luxury, the great German engineering. You get a 2024 Crossport right now for 2.9% APR for 60 months. 5 years, man. Because they sell more inventory than anyone, they can give you the best deals. And if you're looking to buy pre-owned, they've got a better pre-owned selection. So go shop the used lots, but make sure you shop South Point Volkswagen as well. Airline just north of Highlander, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, if you're just joining us and you haven't heard the news, super disappointing, but Adam Schefter reporting that Rashid Shaheed did, in fact, have knee surgery out in California, and his season is over. He's going to IR, 4 to 6 month recovery. The Saints, as a result, have elevated Equanimous St. Brown from the practice squad, and they also added Jermaine Jackson, a receiver and return specialist, Jermaine Jackson, to the roster. So Saints will somehow put it together with bubblegum and duct tape tonight against the Broncos. See if they can find a little magic. Hour 2 is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. Told you Ben McDonald, you've seen his ads before. If it's good enough for the first pick of the draft, good enough for me and you, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. They've been first in agriculture for more than 100 years, since 1916. But, of course, what many people may not know is it's not just about buying the 1,000 acres of farmland. You want to buy that recreational property, that hunting property. You want to buy that timberland as an investment property. Maybe you're looking for 20 acres, 100 acres to build your family's dream home. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. I was talking to Ben Sanders over at First South Farm Credit just yesterday. He told me in the last 2 months, they've done $168 million in loan modifications. If interest rates drop, they're going to call you and tell you they can save you money. Who else does that? It's First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com. FirstSouthland.com.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Virginia men's basketball coach Tony Bennett is retiring effective immediately. No reasons given for his departure. NBA, the Clippers will start the season without star Kawhi Leonard. ESPN's Shams Charania reports he's sidelined indefinitely with inflammation in his right knee. In his absence, Clippers look to one player in particular to step up, explains Shams.
This puts a lot of the onus on James Harden. Maybe not to be Houston James Harden, but everything you see out of the Clippers right now and James Harden is that he is in top form. He's ready from a leadership perspective, and also what he's delivered so far on the court in preseason. What he's going to bring is going to be as close to Houston James Harden as we've seen.
Yankees will start John Birdie in place of Anthony Rizzo at first base. Jose Trevino over Austin Wells behind the plate. Game 3 of the American League Championship Series in Cleveland today. One factor with lefty Matthew Boyd starting Rizzo and Wells, left-handed hitters. Birdie and Trevino are right-handed. First pitch in 8 minutes. NFL Saints receiver Rashid Shaheed out the remainder of this season after meniscus surgery. He faces a 4 to 6 month recovery.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, the Chiefs are coming off of the bye. So will it be business as usual for them, or will Brock Purdy and the Niners give them their first loss of the season? It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing service in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. My goodness, what a day. Saints-Broncos tonight on Thursday Night Football. Schefter with the breaking news. Rashid Shaheed knee surgery. He's out for the remainder of the year. 4 to 6 months on the recovery. We'll get to Ross Jackson next hour, who'll be here with us. John Nabors does a great job covering Arkansas. John's been a great friend of the show for a lot of years. He'll give us a thumbnail preview of the Hogs here in about 15 minutes from right now. If you missed it, had a chance to visit with Kyron Lacey last hour. If you missed that, AFR on demand, YouTube or podcast. If you listen to podcasts, your favorite podcast app, just search After Further Review. Boom. Every hour of the show is podcast. Boom, boom, boom. Every day. You can get it right there. Please subscribe. And thanks for being there on YouTube as well. If you're watching live on YouTube, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you for being there. There was even more news that kind of developed with, it's just... hits keep on coming. It's just one of those sort of newsy kind of days. If you missed it on Wednesday, LSU offensive lineman Tyree Adams and hat tip Kogi Riley, he's the one who screen grabbed it and posted it on Twitter. But Tyree Adams posted on his Instagram story that he had successful surgery and says, thanks to everyone who checked on me. That's a picture of him in a hospital bed post-surgery. The nature of the injury is not disclosed. What I can tell you is that over at LouisianaSports.net, we are reporting that it was a knee injury suffered in pregame warm-ups before Ole Miss, which just absolutely sucks. Not that any injury is good in any way, but a knee injury in pregame warm-ups, I mean, that might... The only thing worse would be a non-contact drill at practice. We don't know the extent of the injury at this point. and it's Thursday at 4 o'clock. Brian Kelly's meeting reporters Thursday after practice. Then he has his coach's show. So no doubt he's going to be asked about it. But, again, what we were told at LouisianaSports.net, or what we're reporting, I should say, at LouisianaSports.net, is knee injury suffered in pregame warmups. And, for Tyree Adams, this is so disappointing, too, because this is a guy who had become LSU's 6th offensive lineman, and this became very crystallized during fall camp because all throughout fall camp, when LSU would run with their second team, Tyree Adams was backing up Will Campbell, so he's the primary number 2 at left tackle. But if you remember, during fall camp, there was a time where LSU was without Miles Frazier, and there was a period where they were without Garrett Dellinger. In both of those instances, it was Tyree Adams who went in at those guard spots. So Adams, and you also remember that against it was the UCLA game where Emory Jones went down kind of with a twisted ankle and came out of the game for a brief time. It was Tyree Adams that went in at right tackle. So Adams has been your number 6 offensive lineman. He's been your 6th guy. Basically, he's the number 2 at every spot except center, because that would be Cohen Eccles, the freshman, backing up there at center, the number two center. So now, without Tyree Adams, where do you go if you have a shuffle on your offensive line is a big question. No doubt Brian Kelly will be asked that. We'll see what he says. But, whenever they were running 1s and 2s, right, the second team tackles were Tyree Adams at left tackle and freshman Weston Davis at right tackle. I'm not sure that, God forbid, knock on for Micah, if something were to happen, let's say Will Campbell caught a cramp or something, had to come out of the game, had to go to the bathroom. I'm not even going to say injury. That I don't think they're putting Weston Davis in at left tackle. I think what they would probably do it again. I don't know what they would do because the answer has been Tyree Adams. We haven't seen anything else. My guess is they would kick Emory Jones to left tackle and then put in maybe Weston Davis at right tackle where he's more comfortable. Emory's played a ton. He was a left tackle in high school. He could play either spot. The only reason he's not a left tackle in college is because you got the best left tackle in college right now. So that's my guess as to what they would do so as to get the best 5 available on the field. Last year, Bo Bordelon was one of your backups at left tackle. We've seen Bo Bordelon primarily play right guard this year with the 2s. Bordelon, if you're looking for a veteran guy, could maybe kick out there. I don't know what other options you would have. Let's just hope you don't have to find out. It would stand to reason it would be much easier to find a rotational offensive lineman on the interior at one of the guard spots than to go play tackle, especially against Arkansas this weekend where Landon Jackson, who had a slow start to the season but is a very good player, he's an all-SEC caliber player. He's in some mock drafts as a first-round pick. That would be unenviable. So let's hope LSU goes up to Fayetteville this weekend and for the remainder of the season stays healthy because there aren't really opportunities anymore to get guys reps. You've played all of your non-conference games. I mean, you don't need me to spell it out, but, I mean, after this game at Arkansas, you're at A&M. You have an open date, then you play Alabama. Then you're at Florida. You're home against Vandy and home against Oklahoma. Like, there are no more layups. There's no more opportunity like against South Alabama where if you wanted to, you could freely rotate guys in the second half to get them experience. So you got to stay healthy on the offensive line because while you have talent, you have young talent, you don't have any experienced depth. That's what losing a guy, which we haven't talked about this at all this year, but that's what losing a guy like Marlon Martinez does. Marlon Martinez was a veteran guy who could have been a backup at center, could have been, might have won the starting center job, could have played either guard spots. That's a veteran guy that you would have had right there ready to go in. That's the value of a guy who hangs around the program and is a versatile rotational piece on your offensive line. So, I mean, think of a guy like T-Bob who works with us here. I mean, T-Bob could play any of the interior spots, center, either guard. And he was a starter, but also rotated. He was so versatile They could have done just about anything. So I'm not going to downplay Tyree Adams' absence. It's a guy you hope you don't need him, but if you do, right now you're surely short of options. For Adams on the season, by the way, he's played 79 total snaps, 51 at offensive line, 28 on special teams, so field goal, PAT. So for a total of 79 snaps on the season, obviously, the bulk of his reps at offense. There's only 2 games where he played on the offensive line. It was the week 2 against Nichols. He played 38 snaps. 3 games. Forgive me. Week 4, that would have been the UCLA game. He played the 2 snaps when Emory Jones came out, and then week 5 against South Alabama played 11 snaps on the offensive line, and then obviously didn't play this week against Ole Miss. So disappointing. Tyree Adams, knee injury, as we're told, suffered in pre-game warm-ups against Ole Miss, had surgery on Wednesday. What the offensive line rotation behind him looks like now is he was the guy at the other 4 spots. If someone went down, he was the one going in. This is a very valuable piece that's now absent from your offensive line heading up to Fayetteville. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you here with us, brought to you by Evermore. Always have mine. Encourage you to get yours. 20-ounce bottles, 32-ounce bottles, 64-ounce bottles. You can buy it at great local retailers. You can buy it online, evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. It's natural artesian water. It's a better source of hydration. It's fresh, smooth taste, perfected by nature. You can read the label. So this isn't just like purified water. This is natural artesian water out of a natural artesian well. They pipe it out of the well into the bottling facility, into the bottle. It never touches air until you open it. You are drinking a natural product from the earth. Nothing added, nothing taken away. It's Evermore, and it's a Louisiana product. Evermore.com, EVAMOR, Evermore.com. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. Our buddy John Nabors will be here when we come back next. John's covered Arkansas for a long time. Great radio host, media host, hosts Locked On Razorbacks now as well. We'll visit with John, talk about the Hogs next on AFR.
After Further Review.
Hey, Saturday is the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree over at Clegg's. Great event that they host every year. Remember, with every tree that's posted, with every tree that's purchased that is Baton Rouge Green approved, Clegg's will make a donation to the Baton Rouge Green Foundation. So, great organization dedicated to beautifying our city and making our city more green. And this Saturday at Clegg's, let me clarify as well. It's the Clegg's on Segan only. There's 4 locations, but the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree is at Segan Lane only, 8 until noon. So if you're looking for hard-to-find native trees and shrubs, some select citrus and fruit trees, every Baton Rouge Green approved tree purchase, Clegg's will donate to Baton Rouge Green and their mission. So find the right tree for the right place this Saturday at Clegg's on Segan from 8 until noon.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com. The Tigers are on the hunt. Let's head behind enemy lines to preview this week's matchup.
Tigers and Hogs. No matter how bad Arkansas is or how good LSU is, this is just never easy. John Nabors, Inside Arkansas, also host of Locked On Hogs. Hey, man, do you say Locked On Hogs or Locked On Razorbacks?
I would say Locked On Razorbacks, but the reason I've done Hogs is because, back when Twitter only allowed a certain amount of characters, they couldn't fit Locked On Razorbacks on the title. So I'm not kidding, dude. They tried to make it Locked On Razor Bees, and I'm like, absolutely not. Let's just do Hogs.
John and I hosted a crossover episode, Locked On LSU, Locked On Razorbacks. That's live right now if you want to check out that conversation. All right, let me start with what I think is the most important part of this weekend, which is Taylon Green's health, the knee injury against Tennessee 2 Saturdays ago. How is he?
Well, man, that's the thing. Is like he is – from at least Sam Pittman's standard, he's good to go. He wasn't even – I was expecting on the injury report to see a questionable or even a doubtful, but he's not even on it. So if you're believing the injury report, which I never do because Sam Pittman, he's been playing some games with that injury report.
Okay.
I think he's good to go. I really do. I think he's going to be good enough to play. He's going to start, and I know we talked about it, but I believe he's going to be around 80%, maybe 85%. So is that going to be good enough to beat LSU? Well, that's the ultimate question because his legs are a big part of his game, and he did have an injury to his leg in that Tennessee game. But I think overall, he's going to be a player that is at least effective in this game for Arkansas, and he is going to be QB1.
How does 85% Taylon Green, let's say that's what he is, how does 85% Taylon Green affect the Arkansas offense?
Well, I would say that it's more impactful than what it would be normally. And the reason I say that is because Taylon Green has done a lot of good things for Arkansas in the offense. I mean, Bobby Petrino, this is the guy he wanted. And Sam Pittman, when he hired Bobby Petrino, says, hey, go get your quarterback. Don't care who it is. Go find him. This was the one that Bobby Petrino wanted from the get-go. He shows that he's tall. He's 6'6". He's got sheer athleticism. He can do so many different things. But the problem is he's not very accurate with his passing, and he does turn the ball over a bit. That has been a problem. Now it's gotten better. Against Tennessee, he didn't have any touchdown passes, but he completed 70% of his passes, which was unheard of because it's normally been around 50%. So he has improved, but again, his legs are such a big part of his game. It's one of those things, Matt, so strange. If he sits back in the pocket and does his reads and has a clean pocket and makes a throw, it's not very accurate. But when he's on the run and he's having to throw across his body about 50 yards downfield, it's the most perfect, most accurate pass of all time. So it's a weird dynamic. I think that he'll still be somebody that can use his legs, but I'm telling you right now, if LSU takes his rushing attack out of it and makes him throw, it's going to be a long day for the Razorback offense.
What are the other weapons there on offense aside from Green? Who should everybody be keeping an eye on?
I know that before the season started, and really in the beginning of the season, Jaquindon Jackson, the running back for Arkansas, he's a beast. He's an absolute beast. He's a transfer from Utah. When he walked in spring ball, I said, that's the dude right there. He's 6'3", 235 pounds, and he's just a very physical back. He has the speed, he has the athleticism, he has great vision because he was actually a quarterback coming out of high school. But as much as I love the guy, his problem is that he loves contact, and contact in the SEC can usually lead to getting banged up and injured a little bit. But he's had some issues with that. But honestly, Matt, Andrew Armstrong, the wide receiver for Arkansas, is that dude. He's one of the best skill position players on the team. I think he's an NFL caliber wide receiver. He's made some catches this year that has just been unbelievable. And the problem is that he hasn't had a single touchdown catch. So got to find a way to get him in the end zone. That's been frustrating. But to me, he's the best offensive player on this team. He's the best threat. And even though other teams have known that about Andrew Armstrong, they still have struggled to stop him completely and effectively. So he's definitely the one to watch, as well as Jaquindon Jackson and also Isaiah Satania, the slot receiver. He can make you pay with his speed if he gets the ball in his hand.
John Nabors is our guest. You can get him on Twitter, X at John Nabors Show. Hey, what about, you mentioned Bobby Petrino, which is pretty fascinating because I think everybody respects Bobby Petrino as an offensive mind. How has he changed what Arkansas does offensively?
Well, a year ago, the offense was just as pitiful as ever. I mean, it was really, really bad.
Except when they played LSU.
I was about to say, except if when you remember that, and Luke Haas was one of the biggest reasons why that was so successful.
Oh my God!
And the freshman tight end, which he's still playing, but hasn't been very effective this year. But either way, once he went down with an injury, the offense really changed. But what he's done is you can tell the play calling is there. The ability to design and exploit weaknesses from other teams, other defenses is there. The athletes are there. The offensive line's improved. I mean, pretty much every position on the offense has improved from a year ago. But the biggest problem, what's keeping this offense from being great, is the execution on key possessions. And what I mean by that is that Arkansas can go 80 yards down the field and it becomes 4th and 1 from the 12 or from the 20-yard line, and they go for it. They don't get it. They leave with no points. Or they just have to kick a field goal. They are terrible about getting in the end zone. They rank dead last in red zone offense. They rank dead last in short yardage situations. And so they have just not been able to, in those moments that you should, as an offense, have confidence and physicality to just get that extra yard. They have not done a good job of it. It's been very strange, and it's been very frustrating for Arkansas because if they were able to do those a little bit more effectively, you could be looking at a 6-0 team. Yeah. They didn't even do it very well against Tennessee, but the offense is there. Everything's there. It's just lacking the execution. And, hey, if you don't execute, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's going to be a problem.
So, John, that's where the interesting thing comes as we flip it over to the defensive side for Arkansas. I mean, Oklahoma State's not a very good offense, but they move the ball kind of at will. Now, they did have a pick six in that game. But Arkansas' scoring defense in the SEC has been exceptional. 14 points on the road against Auburn, lost 21-17 to A&M, and then just the 14 points to Josh Heupel's Tennessee offense in that game a couple of Saturdays ago. Why have they been so effective at limiting opponents' scoring?
Well, I'm just going to be honest, man, and I'm not taking anything away from the Razorback defense because they are good and I have been improved, but the offenses they've been going up against aren't exactly world beaters. I mean, the Nussmeier and LSU's offense is going to be the best offense Arkansas has faced this year. In fact, Arkansas faced a couple backup quarterbacks when they faced Auburn and A&M. So you got to play that into consideration. But what's made them so good, though, besides the opponent, honestly, Matt, has been, they don't have a bunch of NFL guys. I mean, they don't have five-star players like LSU has. Landon Jackson, a player who, of course, LSU fans know. He's a guy that I believe will be drafted, an NFL player, maybe a couple other guys. But what makes this defense so effective is, and it sounds cliche, I've never seen a defense play as well together as this defense does. Their communication is incredible. Their ability their scouting reports, the snuffing out of where things are going to go. The rush defense has been as good as you could ask for. And the pass defense is getting a little bit more improved. But one of the big reasons is they've been without, and they will be without again this weekend their best defensive back in Jalen Braxton. So, no excuses, but that's a big part of it. But either way, they just play really well together. They don't have a bunch of guys that are pros. They just communicate. They try to do different things to mix it up and try to confuse the quarterbacks. I think, again, that's the biggest challenge against Nussmeier because I think he's really good. But they have really been impressive, and they've been the reason why Arkansas has even been in some of those games that they ended up winning, especially against Tennessee a couple weeks ago.
John Nabors, he's on Twitter at John Nabors Show, Locked on Razorbacks. Go check it out. Inside Arkansas as well. Where is the defense weakest?
Well, for a while there before the season started and in the beginning, I thought it was linebacker. It's crazy. They lost 6 linebackers, but 5 of them are still playing college football. Like 5 of them transferred out. The entire room was gone. And they got a Xavier Sorts from Georgia and a couple of others. But the linebackers have actually been really, really impressive, all things considered. But to me, the weakest part has been, and they've, again, gotten better, but still not great, has truly been pass rush. They just have not been able to get to the quarterback effectively. And that's going to me, be a causing of a problem because LSU, I don't think there's any sort of, I don't even think you had to wash Nussmeier's jersey this year. I mean, the dude has not been hit. And so I think that's going to be a big problem. Their secondary's good, but not great. It does fine. But I just don't think Arkansas is going to be able to get pass rush on LSU. And if they don't and drop some back, that's great. But I don't think the coverage is going to be good enough. So it's a bad matchup defensively for Arkansas, but they've done a really good job stopping the run. They've done a good job of 3-and-outs and causing those, and also third down conversions. But it's a matchup that kind of scares me if you're an Arkansas fan, because if they can't get pressure on the quarterback, then it's going to be problematic for them.
LSU the past 2 years, special teams have been problematic. They've been better this year. How's Arkansas in the third phase?
Well, in special teams, it's actually been pretty good. The punting's been great for what that's worth. Nobody wants to be great in punting, but I mean, it is nice. It's nice for them. Obviously, no return game is much, even though Isaiah Satania on punt returns has the ability to take to the house. It's always going to come down to the kicking. And what's crazy is that Arkansas had 2 kickers this year, but only had 1 playing, and it's been Kyle Ramsey. Well, Kyle Ramsey's not been great. He's hit more than he's missed, but he's good for about 1, maybe 2 misses a game. People have been really frustrated to see that. And he got hurt against Tennessee. Hurt so much that he's actually out for an extended period of time. So they're going with Shipley, who is the backup, the transfer from Hawaii, who was a Lou Groza semifinalist last year. So we don't know. We haven't seen him really kick any field goals. We've seen him kick a couple extra points. So that's going to be another thing to watch where and I look at it too, Matt, if Arkansas in the first quarter, say, he hits a 42, 44-yard field goal, hey, that confidence is going to be great. It may be all right. But if he goes out there and he ends up shanking a field goal that he should make, I think it's going to kill all of his confidence because this is his time to shine, and Arkansas has no other option. So that's going to be something to watch for. I don't know what to expect as far as making field goals, but, hey, people think it can't be much worse than what Ramsey was providing, so at least they're going to give him a shot.
John, we all saw the scene against Tennessee a couple of Saturdays ago. We know what it's like when LSU comes there. What are you expecting Saturday night?
I'm telling you right now, Matt, there's been a lot of great games and great atmospheres, maybe not so much here recently, just because Arkansas football success has been up and down, mainly down. But I'm telling you, after that Tennessee win and the bye week, it's a night game in Fayetteville. I am not going to compare it to Death Valley because there is no comparison. But if you got LSU fans listening that are going to be up there, you are going to witness Arkansas Razorback Stadium at its best. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. The weather is perfect. It's a high of 75 degrees. It's sunny. It's going to be a wild and crazy atmosphere that's going to be hyped up and energized. It's just a matter of can Arkansas feed upon that, which they have at times, and other times they haven't. But, yeah, I expect a crazy scene. Tailgating is going to be electric as well. So I just really hope for a really good game. But if you're coming to Razorback Stadium for the very first time, that's going to be something to lead. At least the atmosphere and the lead up to it's going to be one of the best ones. We'll see if the game is resulting in one of those two. But it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good old-fashioned Golden Boot, greatest college football rivalry in the history of college football. It's going to be that type of atmosphere, man.
You're going to have your tongue surgically removed from your cheek after that one. He's John Nabors. Get him on Twitter X at John Nabors Show, Inside Arkansas, and Locked on Razorbacks. If you want to check out Locked On Razorbacks, get some info on the Hogs before Saturday's game, make sure you go do it. John, always appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the game this weekend. We'll talk soon.
Be well. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do indoor shutters as well over at Relief Windows. They service the entire Gulf South. Nobody does it better. You know, one of the things I love telling you about with Relief Windows are the people. It's Brandon and Adrian Holly. They're my good friends and have been for more than a decade. We just, as friends, have been through so much together over the years. I love telling you about them. I'm so fired up to see their business grow the way that it has. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. And the reason it's grown is because, yes, they have the systems and all those things in place, but it's their people. They just specialize in customer service. Brandon says it all the time, and it's not lip service. It's what they demand. Everyone that puts that logo on their shirt or on their hat drives around one of those logoed vehicles. You expect exceptional customer service. Look, I tell you all the time, if you're just getting quotes to find who's going to be the cheapest, that's never going to be Relief Windows. It just, they can't be. The quality of product that they sell, the level of service they provide, they'll never be the cheapest. But they'll always be the best, and you're never going to have to wonder if they're going to do right by you and give you a beautiful product. It's Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, shutters as well. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, y'all. Lee Sterling will be here in 15 minutes. We'll get Lee's best bets of the weekend, including get his take on LSU and Arkansas, a little Thursday night football with Saints and Broncos as well. So we'll look forward to having Lee Sterling with us as he is every single Thursday here at the end of hour number 2. When we come back, Muse, Paulie, and I, it's Thursday, so that means what to watch. 3 things that the 3 of us are watching this football weekend. It's next on AFR.
After Further Review.
45 degrees this morning, y'all. It was 45 degrees. Turn your heater on. I know some of you did. It's all right. You can admit it. If you turned your heater on, funny smells, maybe some funny noises, you need to call River City's 1 Hour Air, y'all. I tell you about it every year. It's the preseason heater safety check. There's a lot of reasons you got to do this. Look, it's affordable, and they'll save you money even more if you call and you mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the price. But have them come to your house, make sure it's cleaned, it's efficient, and safe to run during these cold weather months. You know, it collects dust. It's dormant for months. Before you fire that thing up, make sure your heater is safe and efficient. River City's 1 Hour Air can do it with their preseason heater safety check. Give them a buzz, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques, Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Appreciate our friends over at Decision Critical. It can help lighten your family's load, ensuring your loved ones receive top-notch nursing care at home. You give them a call, 320-1201, 320-1201, or decisioncriticalbr.com for an in-home consultation. If you think, I don't think I can afford in-home nursing care, it's worth giving Decision Critical a call. It is more affordable than you think, and it's certainly the level of care that you and your family deserve when you need nursing care. From birth to end of life, decisioncriticalbr.com. Lee Sterling will be here in about 11 minutes from right now. Give us his bets for the football weekend ahead. Ross Jackson will be in the Dome with us in about 45 minutes. Get a scene setter for Saints and Broncos. Every Thursday we do it. We call it What to Watch. 3 things we're looking for in this football weekend. Let's hit it.
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
All right. Muse, Paulie, and I, 3 things to watch. Muse, start us off.
Yeah, so we're going to go to Atlanta here. Georgia Tech and Notre Dame. It's at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Not technically a road game, but about as close as you're going to get with what's left on Notre Dame's schedule. If you're looking for trip spots, there aren't many of those either. I'd classify this as one solely because Georgia Tech's better than their record would indicate, and Brent Key's been one heck of an underdog. Just suffered his first loss as an underdog against a ranked ACC team. Notre Dame, honorary ACC team. 11.5 your spread. Can Georgia Tech cover? Let's take a look.
I'm watching Miami quarterback Cam Ward versus Louisville. Miami is seeking its first 7-0 start since 2017. Cam Ward currently in the middle of the Heisman race. Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter, Dylan Gabriel, they all have better odds than Ward does right now. But Ward leads the FBS in passing yards per game with 369 and is tied for the FBS lead with 20 passing touchdowns.
Let's keep an eye on Travis Hunter and Colorado. Ashton Genty isn't going to play on Saturday. They don't play again until they play at UNLV on the 25th, which is a week from tomorrow. But Travis Hunter and Colorado, they play Arizona. It's a 3 o'clock game on Fox. Everyone's kind of keeping an eye on the Heisman odds to see if either one of those guys can make a move. So long to go. A mid-major and a non-quarterback feels unlikely. Opportunity for Travis Hunter. Gonna play coming off of injury. We see how he does this weekend against Arizona.
Georgia and Texas. I mean, how could we not include this in there? It's a top 5 matchup. It's college game day. This is what I'm interested in this game, though. Georgia, you got to redo here. You were awful in the first half in Tuscaloosa. You didn't handle that well at all. Carson Beck, terrible. How does Georgia handle the atmosphere? Can they get off to a faster start this time against Texas? If they do, got to like their chances on the road in that game.
I'm watching Lions and Vikings, battle of the top 2 teams in the NFC North. Lions coming off the blowout win against the Cowboys. They look like one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. Vikings coming off their bye, probably their worst game against the Jets in London. 2 of the top receivers in the league, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then how do the Lions replace Aiden Hutchinson?
I don't think that this is the game that's going to be on the marquee for many people, but Oklahoma against South Carolina is one that I'm interested in. Again, it's not one that's on the marquee. It's not one of the big ones of the weekend like Georgia, Texas, or even Florida or Tennessee against Alabama, which none of us have on our thing, by the way. That none of us want to watch Tennessee and Alabama. But I'm interested because South Carolina has been better than we thought. They're 3-3. and they were a breath away from beating Alabama. Maybe you could argue should have won that game. So they're moving toward bowl eligibility, where it certainly didn't seem like that at the start of the season. Oklahoma's at 4-2. They are at home, but how about this from our guy Chris Marler? Oklahoma has allowed 13 plays of over 20 yards this season. The Oklahoma defense, which is the thing we all lauded as being really good from Brent Venables, that's 133rd in the country. That's a South Carolina offense. It doesn't always look great, but they have been known to make big plays. What if South Carolina goes to Norman and pulls the upset? That would be a massive blow for Brent Venables, and reality is setting in for Oklahoma. You ain't in the Big 12 anymore, dog.
Is that dead last in the country? Are we at 133 teams in the FBS?
I think it was 134 in the FBS.
Ooh, man. Still. To the NFL, Super Bowl rematch. I mean, how can we not also include this? Chiefs at Niners. The Chiefs have been getting by, if we're being honest. Now, look, they have a lot of injuries to deal with, but they've been getting by, winning ugly. You might not have that luxury against the Niners on the road. Very interested to see that one.
And I'm watching Texans-Packers. Texans looking to take control of the AFC South. Packers looking to keep pace in the NFC North. Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud. Texans just lost Nico Collins, so they do have a little more receiver depth. And can Josh Jacobs get the Packers running game going?
Lastly, Monday Night Football doubleheader. There's 4 Monday Night Football doubleheaders for the season. So this coming Monday will be a doubleheader. You get the Bucs hosting the Ravens, obviously significant here of the NFC South, although if the Saints lose tonight, it may not matter at all. And then the Chargers are at Arizona. Jim Harbaugh, the health scare last week, but they got the win. So see, Bucs hosting the Ravens, Chargers at Arizona, Monday Night Football doubleheader here, Week 7 of the NFL. It's what to watch. We'll come back on Monday and let you know how it all went. It's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Thursday shows are brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service, DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. Quick break, come back. Lee Sterling with his best bets for the football weekend. Don't you move.
AFR.
Love telling you about Glow Resources. Jareth Knockan and the gang over at Glow Resources, man, they have built an incredible machine over there. Yeah, their corporate headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, but they've got offices in New Orleans, in Miami, and Dallas, and all over the place. And they help place employees in businesses all over the country and all over the world. So if your business is having trouble hiring, your business is having trouble finding the right people to make you efficient, maybe you're hiring people that aren't reliable, maybe they physically can't do the job that you hired them to do, or they don't have the qualifications, well, you need Glow Resources. Check them out online at glowresources.com. Having the right people makes your business more efficient. We all understand that in business. Glow Resources can help you do that. They conduct some 15,000 interviews over the course of a year, so they know the questions to ask to be efficient to find the right people for your business. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online. Learn more. glowresources.com. That's GLO. glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Place your bets, gentlemen.
It's time to head to the window.
Don't gamble it all in one place.
This is Lee Sterling's Best Bets, brought to you by Paramount Sports.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Always our pleasure to welcome Lee Sterling onto the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain. If we see any game like we see the last couple weeks on these top 5 matchups, or the LSU game, I mean, incredible. I mean, that LSU comeback was amazing, and then that Oregon game against Ohio State, one for the ages. What a smart move by Dan Lanning, huh?
Yeah, man. So much so that the NCAA has already instituted a rule to tell you how.
I didn't even know that you could do that.
Yeah,
Did you?
absolutely. No, absolutely not. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's brilliant when you prepare for every scenario.
I'll never forget. I had a coach in high school. You'll love this one. We were in a tight state playoff game, and he came up with a play. You know this. You remember when they used to use kicking tees to kick field goals?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I was the holder, and we were tied 7-all. Middle of the fourth quarter, had a good field goal kicker, but it was going to be about a 42-yard field goal try. So sure enough, I line up, and I started yelling out, I forgot the kicking tee. Where's the kicking tee? And ran over the sideline, snapped him the ball, the field goal kicker, threw me the ball. We run for a touchdown.
Love it.
The only negative was they came back and scored, tied the game, and then won it in overtime. Who was the other quarterback? Kerwin Bell.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of talent on that field, man.
Yeah. Mainly on the other side.
I don't know how much talent's going to be on the field tonight, Lee, with Denver and New Orleans. My goodness, the Saints are a mass unit. Denver, this game is completely flipped from the Saints couple-point favorite now to a couple-point dog. What do you think about tonight?
Well, I think justifiably so. This line has flipped. The other line that flipped was crazy, and I can't find any huge bet going the other way, was the Jets game. So they were going to be a 1.5-point underdog. They're a 2-point favorite. They get a receiver, a 3.5-point flip, which is unheard of. So I think the Saints are up against it. This is going to be a tough matchup. I know Patrick Surtain's not playing, but I just love betting on coaches coming back to where they used to coach for the first game. You got to think that he's going to have a couple tricks up his sleeve. You got to hope that they backfire. And Spencer Rattler throws a lot of passes to his running backs and tight ends. I think Denver's the right side here, 16-10.
16-10, so that'd be a play to the under as well, which I don't know how anybody scores in this game. What about in the college game? Man, we got a 4-pack of SEC games we're going to delve into. Start over there with Texas A&M traveling to Starkville to take on Mississippi State. A&M coming off a bye, but maybe a look-ahead spot to LSU. What do you think?
I was thinking that at first, but I think that they've got a good coach in Elko. The only thing that gets me off of playing it big is, it's a little above 14, and also it's only their second road game as a team. And, adjusting as a new coach, just going through the whole, rigmarole of traveling and having your meetings and different places, sleeping in a different bed. And, I still don't see it. I mean, I'm watching this Mississippi State team, and they're going to have to cut down on the penalties. I mean, you're talking about the last 3 games, they've been penalized Well, get this. This is 8 for 65 against Texas, 9 for 75, and 8 for 70 against Florida. Also 2 for 12 on third down conversions. I still like Texas A&M, 38-17.
A&M big in that one. What about on Rocky Top, man? Last time, what a game that was. Game soared over the total, but Bama on the road, slight favorite over Tennessee, which is trying to find itself offensively a little bit. What do we think?
Yep. Yeah, that was one of the top 10 games all time for me. I thought it was just incredible, the drama back and forth. These two teams have a lot of question marks. I mean, Alabama's defense, obviously, giving up 92 points in the last 10 quarters. And Tennessee, all of a sudden, they look like world beaters. I mean, I expected them to, be scoring, on everyone. Then all of a sudden, I mean, on throws of 10 or more yards downfield, the last two games, 13 for 38. But maybe Josh Heupel, semi-quarterback whisperer, is able to get his quarterback back on track here. I think home field has to account for something here also. It's Alabama staff first time going there and tough place to play. And also Tennessee's wide receiver core, which is really banged up last couple weeks. I'm not seeing anyone on the injured list, so let's go with the wrong team favorite here. Be exciting, but about half that score. Tennessee 26-24.
All right, lower scoring with the Vols coming away with the win. Lee Sterling's with us, Paramount Sports. The biggest one in college football is going to be Texas against Georgia. Georgia played a massive game already once on the road against Bama. This will be by far the best opponent that Texas has played all year. But, man, Texas has looked the part. What do we think?
Yeah, I mean, you look at their talent, and you're just in awe. They're loaded pretty almost everywhere. I don't know what their A game looks like yet. I do know what Georgia's A game looks like, and that was against Clemson. They won 34-3, and they held Clemson to 188 total yards. Since that time, Clemson has piled up between 405 and 712 yards per game. Ooh. I mean, Texas, they were by far the better team against Michigan, but Michigan's pass offense ranked 131st in the country. Oklahoma, this might be one of the worst Oklahoma squads we've seen in 20-25 years. Most of the other schools are directional schools they played here. I think playing for desperation has to account for something here, and this is an experienced Georgia team's already been in a big game here. I don't think they're going to be in all. I think it's tougher to play at Alabama than it is at Texas here. And if you think all of a sudden this game looks like the passing of the torch from two-time college football champion Georgia to Texas, don't take the bait. I think Georgia's more desperate. I'm calling for the upset, Georgia 30-24. Let me lead you out the door with probably one of my biggest plays of the week. Most people would not look at this game. Under the radar, Cincinnati laying 5 points taking on Arizona State. Arizona State's going to play with Jeff Sims, if you remember him, from Georgia Tech and Nebraska. Lost their quarterback. Arizona State, they stormed the field, carried out the goalposts. They had lost the year before to Utah 55-3. They had benched it last week. They got to face a team they are not familiar with. Hidden gem there, Cincinnati, laying the 5 against Arizona State.
I love it. A field storm fade. I love a good field storm fade. Hey, real quick, I want to get to LSU, Arkansas, but you got a free play. It's ULL and Coastal Carolina. Tell people how they get you on the phone line.
Yep. Just go to the website, ParamountSports.com, or call me here at the office, 800-400-9741, giving out a free game, like I said, on that Missouri and Auburn game. First 5 callers, 800-400-974. And last week we had the 5 for 55 special. Both days we went 4-1, including that 40 to 50 unit max wager both days. So an 8-2 combined weekend. You can get from now through the 31st, just $197. Works out to $13 a day. Call it our Locktober special, ParamountSports.com. And out the door, it's a tough game here. Another elimination game for LSU. Ole Miss, all they needed was one of maybe 8 or 9 plays. Couldn't close the door. Still have some doubts about the LSU run defense, giving up 422 yards the last 2 games here. With the bye and Arkansas ready for this game, I think goes down to the wire. Hate to say it, wrong team favorite. Arkansas, slight upset. 28-26, Green is going to play for sure.
28-26 Hog. Yep. One thing I know for sure, Lee, watching this game for as long as we all have, look, LSU's won 7 of 8.
Yep.
But it don't matter, even when Arkansas is terrible.
Right.
LSU can never seem to pull away from this team. So
Hey, just great games usually.
we'll see if
Yep.
the Tigers can go and get one on the road. And Lee, I keep saying all week, man, just close your eyes, pinch your nose, and find a way to get out of there with a win. Just fine.
That's what it's all about. That's what I'm hoping for my Hurricanes. Think you know what they're playing this Miami game at 12 noon. It was 38 degrees the last 2 nights in Louisville. Can you imagine these Miami kids? It got down to 72 last night when I was walking the dog, and I saw people. I saw neighbors wearing sweaters.
ParamountSports.com. ParamountSports.com. He's Lee Sterling. Thanks, Lee.
Okay, take care. See you.
We'll see you. We'll talk again next week. Great stuff. We always appreciate it. We're brought to the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. No matter your age or your refractive issue, I say it all the time. Y'all, if you've been on the fence thinking about LASIK, might be for you, not sure if it's for you, you're scared of the laser, whatever the case may be, just go for the consultation with Dr. Blake. You'll be glad you did. He'll answer all your questions, and you'll make the decision in what's best for you. 924-2020. 924-2020. WilliamsonEye.com. Williamson, EYE.com. Okay, y'all. SportsCenter's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. They'll honor the GOAT tonight at the Dome. We'll take a little trip down memory lane next. It's AFR.
AFR.
By the way, Supper Club, Thursday night. Tonight is the night, y'all. Tonight is the night. It is prime rib night. Tonight and every Thursday over at Supper Club. One night only. It's the only night Chef Layton does this special. 21-day, dry-aged, bone-in tomahawk ribeye served and sliced tableside prime rib. Oh, it's incredible. That prime rib can serve 3 to 4 people. So you want to get a little group together, maybe a couple's night, go out, enjoy a Thursday night, get your weekend started right over at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for reservations. SupperClubBTR.com. Remember, it's always open seating at the bar as well, so you could walk in, belly up to the bar if that's what you'd rather do. And tonight, the Bond St. Eden 2015, menu price $1,800, selling for $50 an ounce tonight at Supper Club.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. The Yankees' decision to have right-handed hitter Jose Trevino behind the plate instead of the left-handed Austin Wells has paid off early against the Guardians.
And he sends one into right field. That'll score Volpe. Verdugo held up Jose Trevino, his first appearance, and what a clutch hit. He delivers the first run of the game. It's the Yankees 1, the Guardians nothing in the second inning.
Carl Ravitch on ESPN Radio. New York's up 1-0 bottom third. Dodgers first baseman Freddie Freeman not in the starting lineup. Game 4 NLCS against the Mets tonight due to a lingering ankle injury. 7:30 Eastern ESPN Radio. Virginia men's basketball coach Tony Bennett retiring effective immediately. No reasons given for his departure less than 3 weeks before the start of the season. NBA, ESPN's Shams Charania reports Clippers star Kawhi Leonard out indefinitely with inflammation in his right knee. In his absence, James Harden will be relied upon to shoulder much of the offensive load. NFL Saints receiver Rashid Shaheed out the rest of the season after surgery to repair a meniscus.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, the Chiefs are coming off of the bye. So will it be business as usual for them, or will Brock Purdy and the Niners give them their first loss of the season? It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Heading to the Dome here in about 15 minutes. Our guy Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net. He'll be in that number covering the game tonight for us over at LouisianaSports.net. And while I understand with the significant news today of Rashid Shaheed's knee surgery, which will effectively end his season, Adam Schefter reporting 4 to 6 months. He'll go on to IR. Rashid Shaheed's season is over for the New Orleans Saints. All of the injuries offensively, you're in a 4-game losing streak, the longest losing streak since the last game of the Sean Payton era. It's hard not to feel at least a little emotional about tonight because the GOAT will be back in the building.
Shotgun, drops back, looks to the far sideline, wide open, Traquan Smith. And Traquan Smith is going to go to the end zone. Drew Brees has done it. You have just witnessed history in New Orleans. Drew Brees is the NFL's all-time leading passer.
I was just reminded what it was like that Zach Strief was the Saints play-by-play man for a day and a half. Anyway, Mike Hoss will be on the call tonight for the New Orleans Saints. You can hear that on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, and affiliates of the New Orleans Saints radio network. But what a day it was. The Saints, for all their faults, organizationally, and they are aplenty right now with how they manage themselves, their roster, their salary cap. there are some things that they do well, and this would be one of them, planning this day when you knew that you were going to play on Thursday Night Football, the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton coming back. You'll honor Drew Brees. He was elected inducted, I should say, earlier today into the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame, and he'll be honored at the game today. And Brees did have this to say about his former coach, Sean Payton, who, by the way, Payton did leave the team hotel, the Denver team hotel, earlier today to attend Drew Brees' Saints Hall of Fame induction.
I'll give Sean a ton of credit. I think what we all knew about and trusted about Sean was that he always knew what was best for us. We always trusted him to do what was always in the best interest of the team. And there were moments where that wasn't always what we liked to hear, or having to do the things that we wanted to do. And yet we always knew that it was getting us ready to win, and not just win, but preparing us to be champions. And there's a lot of places that you go, and I can't say that those guys trust what they're being told or trust the path that they're on. But I will say every day we trusted exactly the path that we were on and the place that we were going.
It was a really, really cool day today. A lot of Drew Brees' former teammates were there in attendance. Roman Harper, Jermon Bushrod, Michael Lewis, Saints Hall of Famer. Pierre Thomas was there as well, Lance Moore. Jimmy Graham was the one who introduced Drew Brees before his induction speech. Just a pretty emotional day for the greatest ever to play, of course, for the New Orleans Saints. And I could certainly argue the greatest or most influential sports figure in the history of our state. That list isn't very long. I mean, the New Orleans Saints, we all know, were a miserable organization for the first 4 decades of their existence. It took them 33 years to win a playoff game. And Sean Payton and Drew Brees showed up simultaneously and led the franchise to heights none of us ever thought possible. I mean, winning a Super Bowl. It's so interesting if you were to it's almost like when we talk about LSU with quarterback play now. It's the same with the Saints. They for 15 years, they were always a contender, and they made many people forget, or younger people never even be aware of, the miserable history. But the Saints were a laughingstock. They were among the worst professional franchises in sports, not just in the NFL, just in all of professional sports. And Sean Payton and Drew Brees made them champions, not just contenders, but champions. And so for that, I know there's been this question, about Sean Payton coming back and how you feel about him. For me, I will never have anything but gratitude for Sean Payton and Drew Brees. I don't care how Sean Payton left. I don't care if Drew Brees maybe stuck around too long. I don't care about any of it. They gave you the thing that you thought was never possible, showed you what it was to believe that you could be champions, and delivered. This is incredible. So congrats to Drew Brees, who is elected and now today inducted into the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame. But how cool to have Sean Payton show up. Pete Carmichael was there as well. There's Zach Strief as well. I mean, you had members of that Denver staff that left the team hotel today to go be part of this day for Drew Brees, which was just an awesome thing for him to do. And so he'll be honored on the field. One person that wasn't there, of course, is the late Tom Benson. And Drew Brees did have sort of a funny anecdote about Mr. Benson.
To Mr. B, I will always cherish the moments that I had a chance to be called into Mr. Benson's office. Back in my early days, he served as a grandfatherly figure in so many ways, not just to me, but to a lot of guys on the team. A lot of times I would walk in his office, and he would throw the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times in front of me, and he'd have something highlighted or circled and say, look what the Federal Reserve did today. I was like, Mr. B, I'm just trying to figure out how to beat the Atlanta Falcons this week, sir. That happened a lot, but so much wisdom and so much caring that I felt from Mr. Benson. And I think his passion for this team and this community was pretty evident every time we saw him in public or on the field, in many iconic moments, and he'll live with us forever.
Drew Brees, inducted today in the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame. His day in Canton will come soon enough as well, and they'll honor him on the field. And one of the things they're going to do on the field, I Look, Drew Brees says do it. We all go do it. All right? If Drew Brees says, everybody take off your shirt, drop your pants, and wave your shirt above your head like a helicopter, whatever, we're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's Drew Brees.
Yeah. We're going to do it.
I mean, if Drew Brees tells everybody, turn your back to the field for the entire game, we all going to turn our back to the players going to be looking at people's backs, right?
Yes.
All right, so everybody know Drew Brees' famous pregame chant that he would lead the team on, right?
Yep.
Well, he going to go on the field, and they going to do the chant, but not with the team,
Not with the team? With who?
With the whole crowd.
Uh-oh.
Which means you can have a bunch of people like Condon who butcher the English language as it is to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Who you better believe are going to be drinking all damn day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to try to get 70,000 people in an echoey domed building where they can barely figure out the Who Dat chant at the beginning of the game and get that right. They're going to try to get 70,000 people to do Drew Brees' pregame chant with Drew leading it. How do you think that's going to go?
Not well.
You want practice? Paul, you want practice? I'll be Drew. Y'all be 70,000 drunk New Orleanians in the dome, all right?
Let's do it.
All right. This is how it's going to go. You ready? I need some... look.
Okay, energy.
I need some energy. I'm Drew Brees, all right?
All right.
So I say one, you say two, I say win, you say for you. You got it?
Got it.
1,
2,
win
for you.
I say 3, you say 4, I say win, you say some more. 3,
4,
win some more. I say 5, you say 6, I say win, you say for kicks. 5,
6,
win
for kicks.
I say 7, you say 8, I say win, you say it's great. 7,
8,
win,
it's great.
I say 9, you say 10, I say win, you say again. 9,
10,
win,
again,
win,
again,
win,
again,
win,
again.
Let's go now! Let's go!
AFR.
You know what? That went way better than I thought it was going to go. I thought that was going to completely bomb, but I got myself a little fired up.
Yeah.
Did you hit the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Rouse's. Are you timing this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was jumping, running around and stuff like that. I wasn't timing that at all. Chopper style. Hey, look, Rouse's official supermarket of the Saints. Chopper style, the Breeze chant, and Rouse's. Aren't they all the same? They're all the same. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. You get fired up when you hear Chopper style after a touchdown. You should get fired up when you walk into Rouse's and you see discounts. You get fired up when Drew Brees is doing a chant. You should get fired up when you walk into Rouse's and you find out their grand opening of their newest location in Biloxi was this week. You get fired up when the Saints score a touchdown, is Chopper style, the Breeze chant, bike life dance, and everything like that. You should get fired up when you walk into Rouse's. Hey, look, Chopper did the commercial with Rouse's. Tell you what, Rouse's, this feels like home.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
He steps back to pass, throws, that ball is caught. Mike Thomas cuts back in the middle, makes another man miss. Mike Thomas up to the 45-yard line, and on that reception, if a quarterback's job is to get the ball to his playmakers, no quarterback in NFL history has done it better than Drew Brees as he passes Brett Favre as the NFL's all-time leader in completions with 6,301.
Man. Jim Henderson couldn't have hung on just for a few more years to get all these record-breaking calls. Oof. Ross Jackson is with us at the Dome. I know that because he tweeted "We Out Ya" earlier with his Dome picture, as is customary. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. How are you, dude?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you.
How bad were those calls from Zach Strief? Oh, man.
Well, I think there's a reason why he's coaching.
Oh, man.
You know.
God bless. I respect him for trying, but my goodness. Who made that decision to let that guy be the play-by-play man for an NFL franchise? Oh, my. Anyway, I would say on to better things, but I don't think these are better things. Okay, where do we start? Rashid Shaheed, what can you tell us?
He is done for the season. Look, I feel bad that all I seem to do around the New Orleans Saints these days is deliver bad news, but I promise it's not my fault. So Rashid Shaheed dealt with a knee injury, ended up getting it checked out. From what I understand after the game against Tampa, found that there was a meniscus issue, went in for surgery in Los Angeles, and then that surgery was going to determine just how long he was going to be out, basically. Will it just be a trim to the affected area, or will they need to do a full repair? The doctor opted for a full repair, so he is now online for a 4 to 6 month recovery process, so his season is over. The reason why this is such a big deal is because he was effectively the Saints' most reliable scoring threat in the passing game. And I don't think there's any way to argue with that. 3 of the 9 passing touchdowns went his way. Deep threat, did a lot more than that as well as a returner for the team. He was the guy that got them on the board last week after going to a 17-point deficit, so on and so forth. So it's going to take a team. It's going to take a kind of a collective effort to replace him, but it's not going to be easy, and this is something you're going to see kind of impact this New Orleans Saints offense for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the report's up there at louisianasports.net if you want to go read it. Ross has the report there, and also report about what the Saints might do to replace Shaheed as well. So short-term and long-term, meaning the rest of the season, what do they do at receiver?
Yeah, so I think what you're going to see tonight is Jermaine Jackson. No, not that one. The undrafted free agent wide receiver out of Idaho. He will be coming in, and he was elevated. I believe that he will be active. I believe that he will indeed be there tonight.
Nice.
I'll do what I can. He was elevated, added to the active roster in place of Rashid Shaheed. He's going to be the guy that's kind of helping from the return aspect. He was kind of their top returner alongside Rashid Shaheed all throughout training camp. We were out in California. So I think he and Mason Tipton will be the go-to guys, though I think more players will get mixed in there. Alante Taylor, Kool-Aid McKinstry, who did that in college, and others. When it comes to the receiving side, remember the team's also going to be without Chris Olave during this game, who's in concussion protocol at the moment. Hopefully we'll be back next week with a mini bye that will happen going from Thursday to next Sunday. With that, though, for tonight, I would expect to see Mason Tipton be the guy that you're looking to see stretch the field a bit. He and Spencer Rattler did a good job of that throughout training camp. Obviously, that was against training camp 13 defenses, though. We'll see what happens when they go up against a top 5 scoring defense and a top 5 yardage defense. Long term, hopefully Chris Olave, once he comes back, kind of alleviates some of the concerns, but they're still going to have to figure out who's that second guy to Chris Olave. Matt, you and I have had the conversation a lot over the course of the season and the offseason leading in. The Saints didn't have a third wide receiver. Now they don't have a second wide receiver. So maybe going to the trade market, a guy like Mike Williams out of the New York Jets is somebody that they've already been connected to that's potentially checking in about trade interest.
Have we gotten standard elevations and things like that? Like, do we know who of note is going to be available tonight or who won't be yet?
Yeah, we know standard elevations. We don't have inactives yet. That's going to be probably in about the next 25 minutes. So that will be up at LouisianaSports.net around then. But for the standard elevations, they did elevate Equinemius St. Brown, the veteran wide receiver. So he'll be a part of the Saints receivers tonight, along with Jermaine Jackson, along with rookie Bub Means, Mason Tipton, and Cedric Wilson Jr., the veteran wide receiver there. And then they also elevated safety Jonathan Abram, who'll be able to help out. But this is the last time the Saints are able to elevate Jonathan Abram, by the way. If they want him active for another game, they're going to have to add him to the active roster. So that'll be a little bit of a story to watch with Will Harris Jr. currently on injured reserve.
Ross Jackson's with us. He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola, of course, Locked On Saints podcast, and he's our guy over at LouisianaSports.net handling our Saints coverage. You know, whenever there's a primetime game, man, the CBD shuts down around noon, and that place is jumping a little bit. I'm curious with the team 2-4, what it was like today around the city.
Yeah, I mean, there was traffic, but that's about it. I wouldn't call it necessarily jumping. But look, I do think that for this game, you're still going to see a pretty nice turnout here in the Dome, and you're going to feel a lot of energy here in the Dome. It is a primetime game, as you mentioned, but also a huge game. It's former head coach Sean Payton's first game back at the Superdome. It's the honoring of Drew Brees at halftime as he gets inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame. The big thing you got to hope is that the Saints don't embarrass Drew in front of company. But outside of that, I mean, there's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be a lot of energy in this Dome tonight as these guys kind of, represent a pair of guys that effectively changed this franchise and helped to change the city in a positive way as well.
Yeah, you're not embarrassing him in front of company. You're embarrassing him in front of your ex.
Yeah, even worse.
That is
a lot of exes too.
There's a lot of them over there. Hey, for tonight's ball game, I mean, what Ross on a short week? I mean, it's interesting how all this has taken the conversation away from Spencer Rattler making his second start and the defense performing so poorly a week ago. But those are, like, as we talk about the nuance of tonight's ball game, which is, I mean, there's just no more room for error for this team. What do you think is realistic offensively with Rattler making his second start tonight?
Yeah, it's a tough call because, I mean, you mentioned Spencer Rattler starting. You've also got 2 rookies that are effectively going to be your 1 and 2 at wide receiver. You still have injuries on the offensive line. You still have a running back in Alvin Kamara who's dealing with hand, hip, and rib injuries and things like that. So this is still a very beat-up team over on offense. So it's a little bit of a youth movement. So if nothing else, it gives you an opportunity to maybe get a look at some of the younger guys on this roster. We saw starting quarterback Derek Carr listed as doubtful for this game, which is an indication that he might be ready to come back against the Chargers next week in LA. So this might be your last opportunity to really get to see some of these guys, particularly Spencer Rattler, here this season, depending upon how the rest of the year goes. So that, to me, is kind of the big thing that you're watching. What you want to see, simply put, is development. Last week, you saw Spencer Rattler struggle against the pressure, 33.3% completion percentage when pressured, just around a 19 passer rating when pressured as well. Can he be better up against the pressure? Because he's going to see a lot of it. The Denver Broncos defense second in the NFL right now in quarterback pressure rate generated. So he's going to have to be able to show that he's developed in that area. I think that's what you're looking for. And you're hoping that the Saints are going to be able to get a run game going as well to help support them.
One of the 5 things that Ross wrote about 5 things to know for Saints-Broncos at LouisianaSports.net was that pressure stat. Would highly recommend you go read. There's tons of Saints-Broncos pregame stuff over at LouisianaSports.net, tons of content hopefully you go check it out. All right, give me something to watch here tonight, man. If we're thinking there could be a reason for optimism and the Saints get back on track and this 4-game losing streak, what is it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's going to really kind of come down to tackling, right? If the New Orleans Saints can make tackles at the catch point, the Denver Broncos are not a team that generates yards after catch. Surprise, surprise. A Sean Payton-led team doesn't rely on yards after catch to pick up its yardage. So that's going to be the biggest thing. One of the things that New Orleans defense has done extremely well this year is take the ball away. They haven't always been able to cash in on it over on the offensive side, so that's a separate part of the conversation. But to me, this game comes down to which defense performs better against the rookie quarterback that's going to be across. That's going to be the Saints' biggest hope. Take the ball away by making Bo Nix throw under pressure, getting that pressure on him, but not allowing him to get outside the pocket. Allow him to, make throws under duress and force them to shoot deep because they're not going to be able to get the yards after catch they want. That's going to be the biggest thing. But if New Orleans can't tackle, they missed 15 tackles last week, 13 the week before that, 38 over the last 3 games. That's going to be the story of this game, and it's going to be a long night.
He's Ross Jackson. Get him on Twitter, X at Ross Jackson Nola. Read his stuff at LouisianaSports.net. And, of course, you can hear him on the Locked On Saints podcast every day on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Thanks, man. Enjoy the game.
Always a pleasure, bud. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. We'll see you. That's Ross Jackson. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, Parish Restoration as well. All there at parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Had our weekly meeting over there this morning at the parish office. Was actually doing morning scone when it happened. Walked in, got to see Terrio a little bit, tour his office right there on Lavo Lane off of Highlandia in Baton Rouge. We service all of Louisiana, so it's commercial or residential. We'd love to help you out. I'll tell you about our commercial division as well. Matt Pearson, got to see Matt earlier today, who's awesome. We hired Matt away from a roofing company in Florida, spent 30 years in roofing and commercial roofing along the whole Gulf Coast. He's seen everything. I mean, I could say there's nothing he hasn't seen. That's a double negative, but it's true when it comes to Matt, who's headlining our commercial division. And really, our difference is our people. Linda, who handles the insurance side of things for us. I mean, there was a claim that came in yesterday where an insurance company only wanted to approve a repair. We went to work. Not only did we get the whole roof replacement approved, but also supplements as well. Let us help you. Roofing is uncomfortable and uncommon for a lot of people. Maybe you replace your roof once or twice in your entire lifetime as a homeowner. If you're unfamiliar, let us help you. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. You can hit the restoration tab there as well. You want to find out more about the patented non-toxic dry fog treatment I tell you about all the time. It's all there. The same website, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. Is Brian Kelly meeting with reporters just yet? All right, that's happening right now? Okay. The news of the day around LSU is that Tyree Adams, LSU offensive lineman Tyree Adams, posted a picture on his social media coming out of surgery on Wednesday with an injury. He did not disclose that. We're waiting. Brian Kelly's meeting with reporters right now, but something I can tell you, we did report at LouisianaSports.net that it's a knee injury that Tyree Adams suffered during pregame warm-ups before the Ole Miss game, unfortunately. So that's LSU's 6th offensive lineman. I mean, that's the guy that would go in at any of the spots if somebody went down. I mean, he reps as the number 2 left tackle behind Will Campbell, but in fall camp, we saw Miles Frazier go out against UCLA when Emory Jones twisted his ankle. It was Tyree Adams that went in. So in fall camp, when Garrett Dellinger missed a couple of days, it was Adams, one of them with the ones at left guard. So he was your next guy up. If he's out obviously for this game, he's out for any length of time. Who goes in there is a gigantic question mark. So we'll see what Brian Kelly has to say about that as he's again meeting with reporters as we speak. When he wraps up and we have any updates, we'll pass it along to you. All right, y'all. Auto Locks is coming up in 15 minutes. Yankees and Guardians are on right now. The NLCS coming up later. You got Thursday Night Football, college and pro. Jimmy will have a bunch of games. If you want to get Auto Locks, they're already live at LouisianaSports.net. Hit the sports betting page. I think they're right there on the homepage as well. Jim will post Auto Locks at LouisianaSports.net every day before we even come here onto the show, so LouisianaSports.net. All right, our Thursday show is brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service. DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. Let me knock out a break. Come back. Give you we'll go a little more nuance into the game tonight, and then we'll find out what Brian Kelly had to say to reporters right now. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics since 1982. Action Industries, 42 years servicing the petrochemical and refinery markets in the greater Baton Rouge area. Keep telling you about those 2 turnarounds they have coming up that they're recruiting heavily for right now. They need 100 to 120 people. If you're interested and you're qualified, boilermakers, welders, crane operators, pipe fitters, they want to talk to you over at Action Industries. You can apply online, actionindinc.com, Action Industries Incorporated, actionindinc.com, or in person at their Geismar office, Highway 30 in Geismar. Just go into the office, ask for Zach. And look, they got these 2 turnarounds, these month-long, 4 to 5 week turnarounds. But also recently, Action Industries was awarded a year-long project, so they'll have much more steady work coming as well. They need people. They need you. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
All right, cruising along here, hour number 3. Brian Kelly wrapping up with reporters. A couple of notes. Michael Cobble from WBRZ. Dave, take the camera off me for a second, please. Thank you. He's texting right now. All right, I was just looking for some of the notes from BK that Cobble was texting me. So Chris Hilton out. I don't think it's a great surprise. We've talked about it. I don't know why we'd expect to see Hilton until we do, as he's continued to deal with that foot injury. C.J. Daniels practiced. He is probable for the game against Arkansas. That's a good note. Says Tradez Green had a good week, but they don't want to overload him with too much, which I understand. I think it's completely sensible and plausible to think that you could give Tradez a hand. I mean, he's had 3 catches on the year, and 2 of them are touchdowns. I think it's completely plausible that a guy like Tradez Green could go out there and have a dozen snaps. And if you go play 70 offensive snaps, could you get Tradez on the field for a dozen of them? I don't need Tradez to go out there and have a dozen targets. I mean, my goodness, I just want to see the guy get out there and give you a mismatch on a handful of plays. He played 1 play against Southern Cal in the opener, played 20 snaps against Nichols, a dozen plays against UCLA, just 2 snaps against South Alabama, which is bizarre, and then 3 against Ole Miss. I mean, he played 3 snaps against Ole Miss, and he had a touchdown. It's pretty good clip if you're out there for 3 plays and you're changing the scoreboard. So, yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with Tradez Green. If he goes from 3 snaps to a dozen snaps, I don't think he's got to be out there every play. I don't think you need to overwhelm him. Apparently, Brian Kelly did not discuss who would replace Tyree Adams on the offensive line. That's one of the things I was looking at there. So, did not discuss who would replace Tyree Adams on the offensive line, but I do think that becomes a very big talking point, big part of this conversation when you've got a guy who's a very valuable and versatile piece of your offense, as he is the next guy up at all the positions except center. If something were to happen, knock on wood, and let's get down and bend the knee and light a candle that nothing happens on the offensive line. But think about what we saw against UCLA a few weeks back when Emory Jones got rolled up on his ankle. It was Tyree Adams that went and played those 3 snaps at offensive tackle. So what would happen in the event? I mean, Weston Davis. Weston Weaver. I know a Weston Weaver. Well, I just don't know many Westons. Weston Davis, true freshman, is your backup right tackle. Is he the guy that would go in that situation? I don't know. I mean, if it was one of the guards that went down, is it Bo Bordelon that goes in? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Let's hope we don't have to see, but it would be interesting. If you weren't here last hour, Lee Sterling did pick Arkansas to win. Now, for what it's worth, last week, Lee had Ole Miss and Phil Steele had LSU. Phil ended up on the right side, of course. I don't know how you can feel if you're a sports bettor. I would assume that you felt like if you're on Ole Miss that you were on the right side, and it was kind of a bad beat. But I shouldn't say a bad beat, but I would say that's a tough beat. Let's put it to you that way. It would be a tough beat. But world of sports betting can be obviously challenged and fickle. But he had Arkansas 26-24. I don't necessarily disagree with that score. I think this is a game that. By the way, I'm picking LSU to win tomorrow. I'm not doing it again. But I think LSU, just like I thought Ole Miss was the better team last week, I think LSU's the better team this week. The situation favored LSU last week. The situation favors Arkansas this week, but sometimes good teams can overcome the situation. Ole Miss dropped a touchdown pass and missed a 32-yard field goal, and they got a turnover at the 13-yard line, got no points out of it. I mean, they missed opportunities. It's imperative for LSU when they have those opportunities, because they will have them against Arkansas, not to miss those scoring opportunities, change the scoreboards, like I said to Lee last hour. Pinch your nose, hold your breath, find a way just to get out of there with a win and get on to the next. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana, from Morgan City, where they started, up to Baton Rouge, west into West Baton Rouge Parish, all the way toward Lafayette and Acadiana. It is Shawbills, voted by Modern Tire. Miss Beth Barron, owner, CEO over at Shawbills, voted by Modern Tire as their Dealer of the Year, a national award among all the tire dealers in America, because at Shawbills, they've done for more than 50 years what they set out to do when Mr. Charlie opened the doors in 1968. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. They'll keep you coming back because they treat you like family. It's Shawbills. Schedule your service online. Shop tires online. It's ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. So we've talked a lot about Sean Payton coming back to New Orleans. What about Sean Payton talking about coming back to New Orleans? One of the things he talked about was coaching in New Orleans and what that meant for him during his time with the Saints.
What happened, none of us planned. I don't know that we anticipated where we were going at the time we were going. We were going post-Katrina. In other words, I was with Dallas, and I'd interviewed in Green Bay, and I was on the New Orleans interview waiting to hear from the late Ted Thompson. Got a voice message. I hadn't gotten that job, and I remember throwing my phone into the pillow and just like, holy cow. And where I'm going with it is, Drew came. I remember us recruiting him thinking he's going to Miami. And then obviously you take a player like Reggie Bush who's going to get drafted by the Texans. And so fate would have it, there were a number of us that ended up there. But I think none of us could ever understand the impact relative to it was bigger than football. And that we weren't prepared for. But it was more than that. It was just the recovery. And we would fly home from regular season games. There'd be 1,000 people at the airport. Like none of us could have ever envisioned that. So there was a uniqueness to it. Meanwhile, I think that uniqueness timing-wise, and then they hadn't had a lot of success. And then anyway, so that was different. And I think, like when I say there's over 100 people that share that same experience, that was like, wow, we weren't prepared for that.
Going to be a lot of emotions for a lot of different reasons, as we all know, but there is going to be a game played. And something that's always interesting is when staffs and teams are familiar with each other, we always ask the question, is there an advantage? Like when Kirby and Nick Saban would go against one another, right? Because of the familiarity, is there an advantage? Lane Kiffin against Nick Saban sort of thing. What about here? I mean, Dennis Allen and Sean Payton, opposite sides of the ball. Peyton hired DA to be his defensive coordinator. They both know each other so intimately. There's members of the Denver staff, Pete Carmichael, Zach Strief, that obviously know the Saints and their organization, their coaches, a lot of their personnel very well also. Sean Payton was asked, is there an advantage because of how familiar he is with the Saints?
I think from a personnel perspective, look, you'd say most recently Cody, because there are a lot of players there for me that I'm unfamiliar with, but Pete or Cody and so that part relative to the scouting report, strengths, weaknesses. And then look, Dennis and I have worked together for, he was on our original 06 staff and then became our defensive backs coach, became a defensive coordinator. I think this, though, I think on a short week, there'll be, a wrinkle or two, but I think so much of it is the rest and recovery and preparation mentally, because you can't actually get maybe the full speed work that you'd like.
The other thing from Sean that is interesting, and just because of the nature, you realize how different the conversation would be this week if it were literally any other team than Denver? Our entire conversation this week would have been consumed with Spencer Rattler. We had this opportunity on Sunday to see a guy that many people were excited to see. And it would only come about that we'd have this sort of dress rehearsal for Rattler because of an injury to Derek Carr, which nobody wants to see. Nobody wants to see the guy get hurt. But in a season where it looks like you're not going anywhere, it is a good opportunity to put eyes on Spencer Rattler and someone who maybe could be your franchise's future. Used a 5th-round pick on him, and this is a good opportunity to see, is this a guy who can be a starting quarterback in the NFL? Can you build upon it? And we'd be talking until we'd be dissecting everything he did. But your defense gave up 51. It's a quick turnaround from Sunday to Thursday. Sean Payton, Drew Brees, alternate uniforms, blackout, all that sort of stuff have stolen the headlines. But Rattler is another big part of this. And because it's a short week, you don't have a ton of time to game plan, so a lot of it is going to be run your base stuff, whatever wrinkles you can off of it, and go be athletic. And Sean Payton said, look, they spent a lot of time with Spencer Rattler before the draft.
So we spent a lot of time with him. I'd say there was 5, pro day, and then we had a private workout. We were all in Phoenix, Scottsdale area where he's from, steak dinner, the whole 9 yards. He did really well. Again, I'm going to use an analogy. There's a calmness when he plays, and he too has been through, the adversity early on, coming out of high school to Oklahoma and then transferring. But there is a confidence when he's on the field, and you see that in preseason and last week. It's not too big for him, and he's got a live arm. We were really impressed. And look, not that it matters, but we had him graded higher, and I'm sure the Saints did as well, and it got to a point where you just had to take the grade, but he was impressive.
See how Spencer Rattler does in his second outing tonight against the Denver defense, which is fourth in the NFL in total defense, fourth in the NFL in scoring defense. Okay, it's After Further Review. Thursday shows presented by Decision Critical, decisioncriticalbr.com, concierge nursing, healthcare for your lifestyle, as they like to say over at Decision Critical. Look, if you are really anything that you may need, from help after the birth of a child to end-of-life care, this is in-home nursing, private in-home nursing, and every nurse is handpicked by Blazer Rivette, the CEO, the founder CEO of Decision Critical, so they only have the best of the best. It's premier private duty concierge nursing. They provide personalized nursing care from newborn to end-of-life support. They're highly qualified RNs. They specialize in acute short-term care for illnesses, injuries, chronic conditions like heart and lung disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, elderly care, post-op recovery, and it's all in the comfort of your own home. So, if you're interested, learn more. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Final break of the show, y'all. Come back. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks. We'll get a pick on Thursday Night Football. Got some college games tonight. Yankees and Guardians playing right now in the bottom of the fifth. Cleveland up 2-1. Otter did have Cleveland on the money line in that game. So he's bound to hit one eventually, right? Just keep going to the well. Auto Locks is next. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Brought to you by Darin James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Every home listed by every company all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. That's agent225.com. If you are thinking about selling your home, y'all, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Look, you can call Aunt Jane the realtor, but Aunt Jane ain't Darin James, because Darin James last year literally sold more homes than any other realtor in the state of Louisiana. So if you need to sell your home, you want the realtor with the systems, the processes, the people in place to sell more homes than anyone else. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Darin will use his strategies, his great marketing tools, his expertise to find the right buyer for your home faster. He guarantees it. Get your home sold guaranteed with Darin James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Auto Locks.
Auto Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
2-1 for the Otter. Hits on both his college games last night. We missed with the Mets, but how about it? The UTEP Miners, winless. Otter said, that don't scare me. I'm rolling with the Miners. Give that man a ding. Otter, how are you?
Fear creates value, baby.
I love it.
Indeed.
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from you, Jimmy.
It's all about the spots. It's all about the spots. Man, I got a lot on the plate tonight.
Right.
One of my favorite. This is probably my favorite bet of the college football weekend tonight. Virginia Tech was supposed to be pretty good. We were out in Vegas and we were watching, and man, Diego Pavia put it on the Hokies in that opener in Nashville. Beat them badly. They suffered another bad loss to Rutgers. But man, they got it going now. They were supposed to have a good team. They had a lot returning, continuity in the staff, the whole thing. Well, they are now. They put two good games together and won and covered easily. I'm sorry, they didn't win. They got it stolen from them on Friday night against Miami. But went out to Stanford, did that. The quarterback's playing better. BC's on the road here. I love Virginia Tech tonight minus the points.
Wow, that's a 8.5.
Yeah, it's climbing. It's climbing. I mean, but lay it. So
okay, all right, Virginia Tech. I'm with you. Let's ride with the Otters. When you're hot, you're odd. We're laying 8.5 with the Hokies tonight.
Okay, man. He's crying in his milk somewhere. So anyway, let's go to. Let's get a couple of props, first of all.
Okay.
Saints, I think they're going to have a little bit more inspired effort on defense after being embarrassed. Only the 5th time in the history of the NFL a team gave up 300 yards passing and 275 rushing in the same game. Their red zone defense has been good. Peyton is very, very comfortable with the former kicker, Lutz. I got Lutz for Denver field goals over 1.5 tonight.
All right.
Okay.
Denver field goal over 1.5. Got it.
All right. Then also, when Bo Nix's pass attempts are up, they generally lose. He tries to keep it down. Also, with very little firepower with the Saints offensively tonight, I look for Peyton to really lean on that running game. When they do throw it, they throw it underneath. I got a Knicks under 190 yards passing.
Under 190? Okay.
189.5, 190 in that range, whatever you're quoting. I got to take Denver. I'm buying it to 2.5. If it's not, it depends on where you shop, between 2.5 and 3. If it is 3, it's probably light on juice. So, and it's only going to go up with all the publicity of the Saints injuries. So, Denver minus the 2.5.
All right. So Denver field goal. That's Will Lutz. I'm looking at here over 1.5 is plus 130. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some good.
Okay, that's great odds.
Wait, I'm sorry. Sorry. That was the under. Over, my bad. I read it wrong. Is minus $1.70.
Oh, geez. It was $1.38 earlier this morning. So.
It's still worth getting into it.
Yes, indeed. And you can parlay those, too. You can parlay, with the side. You do a little 3-teamer, single game parlay, which I generally don't do. But, studying this one a little bit longer today because all the extenuating circumstances. So,
and I'm looking at Nick's Otter here. The passing yards, 150 plus, 175 plus, 200 plus, 225. I don't see an over-under on these passing yards. I'm looking at the DraftKings app. I need to look somewhere else. Anyway, okay, sorry. Just
all right. And then
never mind.
And then,
I found it. Passing
baseball,
yards, 194.5. So we're going under 194.5?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good number. All
right, good. Got it.
All right, and baseball, we gave out the
1 minute
game
remaining
on the website. Last I checked, Cleveland had a 2-1 lead on a 2-run shot. I just thought, man, they were playing really bad in the first two games. Very uncharacteristic. I think the Yankees and Dodgers are going to the World Series, but I like the two teams that are trailing. I liked Cleveland today. We already put that out. And I like the Mets to bounce back. Every time the Mets are down, man, they have responded. Game 2 of this series, down to last inning in Milwaukee, down to the last. They had to go extra games with the play-in in Atlanta. So I like them to bounce back tonight against the Dodgers.
All right. Virginia Tech laying the 8.5. Denver field goal over 1.5. Knicks under 194 at DraftKings right now. Denver laying the 2. You buy it to 2.5. And the Mets on the money line. Rufino's tomorrow?
Yes, indeed. We'll start at 10 a.m. and go till 1 o'clock. Picks galore in college football tomorrow.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Good luck.
All right, man. Same to you. Muse, Paulie, appreciate it. Hey, T-Bob and I are going over to Curbside. We'll see you for Scone and Tea at 7.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Was chatting with my buddy Matthew over at Optimize just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And, you know, as we're having the conversation, it's always a great reminder that, you know, it's not a matter of if, when you live in Louisiana, that the power is going to go out. It's a matter of when. And you want to be prepared so you stop worrying about not having emergency power when it's out when you need it. Optimize, the Generator People, they're Louisiana's largest and best full-service Generac dealership. They got 4 locations that covers all of South Louisiana, from Lake Charles to Slidell, anywhere in between. And like I always say, they do one thing. They do one thing. Home standby Generac generators. Turnkey installation, price quote guarantee, low down payment. It's Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Bertman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play.